Oh, yeah, y'all ready for this? It's about that time. Y'all ready for the Hobbit Love? There's a new remix of my Hobbit song. I'm gonna have to play my song so that y'all don't get confused, because the video is not my properties. But just sit back for a second and vibe with this beautiful sound.
Come on now, fears, feeling all of your fears. Crying little man tears, crying cause I'm ooh, crying cause I'm a little bitch, a bitch with a sassy face. Sassy little backpack full of limbo spread, full of little limbo spread. Put on a little bit of lemon spread on limbo spread. Itty bitty you. Feeling all now fears, feeling all your fears. Willow versus evil witch, nasty little son of a bitch. Willow versus evil witch, sassy little bitch, sassy little backpack, sassy little Frodo. Packing Elijah Wood, packing where you know I should. Pack a little limbo spread, limbo spread. Pack a little limbo spread. Goes good with my style. Love with the hobby. Don't you try to stop it. Throw a little hissy fit, cause I'm in. Try to stop it, throw your little hissy fit, cause I'm in love with a ooh. I'm on Elvis, feeling all of your fears, crying little man tears, crying cause I'm ooh, crying cause I'm a little bitch, a bitch with a sassy face, sassy little backpack full of limbo spread, full of limbo spread. Put on a little bit of lemon spread on lemon spread. Itty bitty ooh, feeling all our fears, feeling all your fears. Ooh, Willow versus evil witch, nasty little son of my bitch. Willow, Willow versus evil witch, sassy little bitch, sassy little backpack, sassy little Frodo. Packing Elijah Wood, packing where you know I should. Pack a little lemon spread, pack a little lemon spread. Goes good with mustard. Don't you dare try to stop it. Cause
Don't you try to stop it. Don't you dare never try to stop that. Double negative, double hobbit. Sassy little backpack, sassy little Frodo. Y'all remember when Frodo got that ring? He's sassy as hell when he's got that ring. Just sassy. Just in a damn hangry mood. And then Samwise tries to cook him up a brace of conies. It's a brace of conies, Mr. Frodo. It's a brace of conies. And it still doesn't calm his hangriness. Frodo's just a damn period PMS bitch that whole time with that ring, dude. That's what that song is about. I'm in love with a hobby. Don't you try to stop it. Ooh. We got a treat for y'all today. But listen, before we get into the dry technical meat and bones, I'm in a mood, a little bit of a mood today. Everybody's going insane, and I just don't know what to do other than to go insane along with everyone, I guess. So don't you try to stop it. Ooh. I'm in love with a hobbit. Don't you try to stop it. Sassy little backpack. By the way, he's got that little sassy little backpack. He's styling. Frodo's styling. He said, I got the ring. I'm a badass. I don't need nobody talking. I can go invisible if I want. I can turn invisible and go watch you while you go pee-pee, and you can't do nothing about it because I got the ring. That sassy ass attitude. Shit. I'm ready for some of this. This is what I'm feeling today. Look in my eyes and see if you think I'm playing. Do I look like I'm playing today?
Mormon space wives, let's create new lives. Mormon space wives, our God has a body, it's a very toned body. He looks good. Mormon space wives, Mormon space wives, space sex, space sex, space sex. Magic underwear, fitting tight. Magic underwear, let's go right. Mormon space wives, Lords of Cola. Let me have intimacy with you on the planet of Naboo. Magic underwear fits so tight. Magic underwear feels so right. Mormon space wives, creating new lives. Mormon space wives, Mormon space
Oh, I feel that one. I feel that one. You know what I mean? I feel it deep down. Lords of Kolob. How y'all feeling today? You think that's the jam? It's hard to pick the jam. Well, it could be the jam of 2026. I think it came out right around the new year. So we got some popping off cringecore right away, right? Mormon space wives, let's create lives. Mormon space wives, God the Father has a body. It's a very toned body. He looks good. Mormon space wives. Mormon space wives. Space sex. Space sex. Magic underwear fitting tight. Magic underwear is feeling right. Mormon space wives. Mormon space wives. Lords of Cola. I would like to have intimacies with you on the planet of Naboo. All right, which version you guys like better? Because they're both pretty hot. We got people that are going to favor the robot version, and we got people that are going to favor the more raw David Bowie version. You're laughing out loud? What the hell are you laughing at? Ain't nothing funny happening right now. This shit is serious, son. We had a couple requests. Y'all were missing Pentecostal, some of the other classics. Okay, we'll give you Pentecostal.
I was born in Romania in a Christian family. Pentecostal. I was born in Romania in a Christian family. Pentecostal.
That's a damn church right there. That's time for the church, son. We about to have an eyes wide shut church party in the basement. That's what they call the after party. Y'all ever heard of the after party? You know what I'm saying?
I was born in Romania in a Christian family. Pentecostal. I was born in Romania in a Christian family. Pentecostal.
I put my key in the ignition. I'm fresh out the kitchen. I put my key in the ignition. I'm fresh out the kitchen. Sipping on smoking wrong. I'm like, so what, I'm drawn. It's a freaking weekend, baby. We about to have some church.
I was born in Romania in a Christian family. Pentecostal. I was born in Romania in a Christian family. Pentecostal.
Black kings, black bishops, black players, people of the chocolate persuasion. Black kings, black bishops, black players, people of the chocolate persuasion. Black kings, black bishops, black players, people of the chocolate persuasion. Black kings, black bishops, black players, people of the chocolate persuasion.
But the Dark Ages was a time when black people ruled Europe. So when you go into the real history, you'll see King James was...
That's King James right there. That's James LeBron. That's King LeBron right there.
black. He was not a white guy. You'll see his whole lineage of kings.
Black kings, black bishops, black players, people of the chocolate persuasion. Black kings, black bishops, black players, people of the chocolate persuasion. Black kings, black bishops, black players, people of the chocolate persuasion. Black kings, black bishops, black players, people of the chocolate persuasion.
Who was a homosexual himself, who was in love with his sister Lucretia, who they made the image of Lucretia to be Mary. And that became the Renaissance era. Lucretia.
So hold on, you telling me Lucretia? That's a black name right there. How you gonna say that the people that was framing the black people were also black? That don't make no sense. Lucretia is a black as hell name. Lucretia. church even allowed it. You know what I'm saying? The church allowed for straight pimping. That's right. Welcome. Church allowed for straight pimping when we had our minds right. When we had our minds right, the church was allowing for straight pimping. Now we got dang trans bishops, you know what I'm saying? Everything is off. We got to go back to that healthy times, you know what I'm saying? Welcome everybody. Enough of that nonsense. It's time to get cereal up in here. We're about to get cereal. We got a lot to talk about today. Got a lot of informations, a lot of drama. So I came across this spy debate, and I thought, we haven't done a debate review in a long ass time, so why not do something new? And these are both interesting characters, to say the least. You have one who openly proclaims his loyalty to the CIA still, Andrew Bustamante, whom we have covered many times on the channel. He blew up across YouTube a year or two ago. Suddenly these CIA whistleblowers flooding YouTube everywhere. So we're going to talk about a unexpected, interesting debate. I didn't expect this to be a debate. I thought, what are they going to be talking about? And then we have the other CIA whistleblower who is opposed to the CIA, John Kiriakou, along with several other noted whistleblowers of recent years. You have people like Larry Johnson. You have Snowden from the NSA. You've got there's another CIA whistleblower guy that's, his name is escaping me. He's a guy that Alex used to have on quite a bit. But every now and then you get these sort of CIA whistleblower types. Now, I'm assuming John Kiriakou is Greek, and he did, I think he was involved in an operation in Greece where he says there was I think it was an assassination attempt on him. And my assumption would be that his lineage is Orthodox, but I have no idea. He could be an atheist. He could be evangelical. He does presently have a show with Sputnik, which is, of course, Russian media. And Sputnik typically does pretty good, accurate reporting and information. We're going to talk about media outlets here in a second. And are you denying your country by going to work for Russian state media? If you were on RT, some years back, I was on a couple RT shows and interviews, and I would hear this quite frequently. Oh, you're a Russian agent because I saw you on RT. Yes, everyone who's on RT, whether it's Larry King or whether it's Alex Jones, anybody who ends up on RT must be a Russian agent, even though countless people have done media interviews on every possible outlet. Only when you're on RT are you suddenly a Russian agent. But we have to keep this in mind as well. And I'm not at all dissing John Kiriakou, but there are also fake whistleblowers. And I'm not saying that he is, because until I see some, evidence or something like that. If you remember some years back, there was Robert David Steele, the so-called CIA whistleblower, who Alex had on. And initially, Robert David Steele was saying plausible things. And then suddenly he said, and the reason that there's TRAFFICKING of youth people is because they're taking them to slave colonies on Mars. And this ended up being a big disinfo nonsense, bunch of gibberish that made Alex have to deal with and explain, once this guy said this on the show, I had to let it go because it was obviously too ridiculous. Interesting, because that's exactly what we see happening with people like Candace today. They will lay out plausible information, and then it gets crazier and crazier and crazier. That's exactly what Robert David Steele did. So there are fake whistleblowers. Again, not saying that is the case with John Kiriakou. But regardless, so Kiriakou is officially Greek Orthodox. Okay. Regardless, we're going to analyze the exchange that they have, because we've done so many religious debates. We've done Jordan Peterson versus everybody, Sam Harris versus everybody. We've done Richard Dawkins versus everybody. We've done Cosmic Skeptic. What about something different? What about spies debating? I've never actually seen a spy debate. So this is the first that I've ever seen of this. And they're on this podcast, which tends to constantly push out these satanic weirdos like Ammon Hillman and all this Danny Jones guy. I've never actually watched the full podcast, but I've seen clips. And he's always got these Gnostic, Satanist weirdos on here. You know, a lot of people just, I mean, whatever. So we're going to analyze the key points in the debate, and then we're going to shift over to the fuller discussion, because I don't know if the debate gets extensive or not. And we're going to analyze this from the debater's perspective. Yeah, I mean, we're going to see some really interesting. And I want what you guys are going to do with me is we're going to learn debate through this type of an analysis. You're going to see how we pick apart what's happening, and we're going to notice fallacies. We're going to notice emotional deflections. We're going to notice, techniques and tactics versus actual solid argumentation. So I saw 15 minutes of this. Hopefully there'll be more of it in the longer podcast, and you guys are going to get to learn. And these have been some of the more popular videos that we've done on my channel over the years when we do debate analysis and review. And it's going to be fun. Now, guys, remember, you can support the stream through Super Chats. And you can do that through Streamlabs. There's the Streamlabs link right there. And I want you guys to remember everything that we've talked about in the past. Now, if you would like to learn philosophy and get better at debate, I do have a full philosophy course, which you can buy in the show description. It's the link that is the Autonomy Agora Marketplace, and it's done through my buddy Richard Grove. You can get 12 lectures, 12 courses. They're all about hour and a half, 2 hours each. So it's 25, 30 hours worth of lecture material. We have a couple guest speakers, PhDs, etc., that come on, and I think you guys will enjoy it if you're interested in a full-on philosophy course packed into all of Western philosophy, packed into 12 lectures. Before we get to this, I know we're not going to always talk about this, but it just gets crazier and crazier. I didn't even know there was other crazier things that Sweet Candy had said, and I'm going to play it because it gets even dumber. I saw a couple people referencing this, and I had no idea what they were talking about. But apparently there's some other conspiratorial things that she has mentioned that are worth repeating. Let's take a look. We're not going to play the whole thing, but check this out. You're going to get a kick out of this.
Send him to this X-Men school. That's the best way I can describe it. A lot of weird things used to happen to Charlie. He would go on runs. I think I told you guys this, after sundown. And when he was running, street lights would go out. It was like he was in a burst of energy, like he was a lightning bolt or something.
All right, so it looks like Candace Owens has the deep state panicking again because she's finally exposed the truth about Charlie Kirk being a time traveler, energy ball X-Men character, which might seem crazy to somebody who trusts the Fed slop narrative. But
well, and again, we know this part, but there's going to be some new nuggets in this that are going to be pretty funny.
If you've been paying attention to the Candace slop narrative, you know this all makes sense, and people just think it's crazy because they know Candace is getting close to the truth. I mean, she's right on the money with this, just like with the Egyptian planes, the beekeeper cult, the maroon t-shirts in Fort Huachuca. Now it's all finally coming together.
I didn't realize there's another theory of the beekeepers. I saw people making jokes about this, and I'm like, what is the beekeeper thing? Well, apparently she found a picture of somebody, I guess, in the Charlie Kirk miasma wearing a purple beekeeper. So there's a secret society of beekeepers involved in it as well. This one's new to me.
And the feds know that. That's why they're so worried. Like, once Charlie visits Candace in another dream, it's over. That's the only reason why people are making fun of her, because obviously the only reason you'd mock somebody who thinks they can speak to the dead in their dreams is because you know it's true. So hopefully Candace continues to pursue.
No, he's right on the money, right? Because all of these Candace cult people who've been after me for the last month, calling me out, cussing me out, literally just anything you could, just acting absolutely batshit crazy. The only reason you would go against her is because she's on to it, right? So that further proves that she's correct, right? You opposing her proves that it's right because that means that she's right. I mean, it's an unfalsifiable cult mindset, right? And we've talked about this from a logical perspective. Anything that's unfalsifiable, and meaning it's not actually unfalsifiable, but what people do is they construct systems that have all of these firewalls that make the system unfalsifiable. It's not actually. But in terms of wordplay and playing games, it's unfalsifiable. And that signifies a really weak worldview, weak system. If your system was true, if your belief system is true, then it can hold up to scrutiny. It can hold up to investigation, challenges, and questioning. But if your system is weak, your worldview is a weak-ass situation, then a weak-ass paradigm, then you have to construct these firewalls that immediately go off to protect the system from any criticism. And the attitude and the actions of the people in this situation are so absurd, so lazy, so ridiculous. And we've already had, what I'd say in the last few weeks, we have maybe 5 Candace defenders call in, and none of them are rational. None of them can make a coherent, consistent case. They literally just go on and on and on, like this woman. Here we got one right here. Oh, look at this guy. Blah, 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 blah. So it's the wine moms. It's a gigantic wine mom, box wine, Virginia Slim, gossip, sewing circle cult that are just fundamentally, absolutely have no use of reasoning. They do not have the faculty of reasoning working. And so let's hear about the beekeeping cult, and pay attention because we're going to notice more fallacies here as well.
This because she's definitely onto something here, and you tell people are worried about her dreams.
Was Operation LOL, Candace has dreams. Why did she talk about her dreams? How dare she discuss her dreams? Only weird people have dreams and then tell others about them.
Now, this is more of the Roman Catholic charismatic stuff. And I'm not joking, because she's going to point out that Charlie came to her from purgatory in her dreams. That's what she believes. I didn't even realize that it was explicitly tied to the Roman Catholic charismatic gibberish. It actually is. Okay, so this is the problem with Roman Catholicism in general. One of the key components that sets it off against Orthodox Christianity is that Orthodox Christianity typically is skeptical and does not listen to dreams and visions, because we know that we are susceptible to being deluded and going into prelust. Roman Catholicism, because of its last 500 plus years of histrionic women saints, is the exact opposite. They are the proto-charismatics who have actually adopted charismaticism and now rely on mystical visions and senses and intuitions and dreams, which are notoriously not reliable. But in Candace's mind, dreams of Charlie Kirk coming to her from purgatory are actually evidences and proofs.
Dreams are ridiculous. They shouldn't be listened to. So the question...
No, that's exactly right. They are ridiculous and should not be listened to. That is the Orthodox patristic perspective on dreams. That is what any spiritual father will tell you.
Comes, who exactly is making these terrible PR decisions? Like, who thinks, yeah, what we need to do today is we have to attack the dream. Just go at it and do not let up on the dream. I think I know the answer. I think it's someone who feels personally victimized by the dream. Show of hands, who feels personally victimized by Candace Owens' dreams?
I mean, absolutely absurd non sequitur. What does that even mean? That we want to shut her down from listening to her dreams because I feel victimized by her dream? I don't even know what that means. The sentence doesn't even make sense.
And to be honest, it's sort of hilarious that I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I was having incredibly vivid dreams. I began dreaming like I had it.
I mean, weren't you in the midst of multiple, babies popping out? So I'm assuming the body probably has all kinds of chemical reactions going on. Is that not also probably a likely explanation for vivid dreams? Or maybe it's because you fell asleep watching Stranger Things on Netflix and then woke up thinking that Stranger Things is the key to understanding Charlie's murder and assassination, because clearly he's L. right? Maybe that's what's going on.
Dreamed since I was a child because it was every night. Stressed me out. I expressed that to my husband through many tears. He told me that I should consult a priest, which I did. And we spoke about souls in purgatory.
So, allegedly, she spoke to her traditional Catholic priest about these dreams and visions. And does the Roman Catholic priest, Father Bruce, what does Father Bruce tell Candace? Well, it's just definitely got to be about purgatory. Honey child, it is purgatory, and that's where Charlie is. He didn't go directly to heaven because he was a Protestant, but he went into purgatory probably. So that's where he's talking to you from. He's got that line from the created fires of purgatory, just calling you on the nightly, honey. But maybe she watched Black Phone. I'm starting to think, what movies did we recently see? What movies recently came out where people is calling from purgatory? Somebody had done dialed me. Somebody butt dialed me from purgatory. No, stop playing. Quit playing. Man, Candace, why you playing? Man, Candace, you play too much. Y'all see Black Phone? I'm starting to think that was a code about Candace. You know what I'm saying? Black Phone. Black person getting phoned from the beyond. Okay. Track with me. Y'all tracking with me right now? I don't want all these Dumbos reviews. I want the trailer, dog. And by the way, I thought for sure this kid was freaking Ethan Hawke's son. He looked just like him. That's purgatory right there. Charlie Kirk had done crawled out. By the way, purgatory is ice cold. Y'all thought it was hot. It's ice cold, dude. Go watch Black Phone. Charlie Kirk done crawled out. He got on that phone right there. And because he remembered he had Candace's number still in his flip phone, right? He got on that flip phone right there. And he phoned home. And he said, "Girl, listen to me now. You better get some indulgences stacked up because you don't want to be in this cold ass purgatory that I'm in. Purgatory ain't hot. It turns out it's turned out it's cold. And I'm over here trying to turn the heat up. Get that heat turned up." That's Charlie right there. In purgatories. And he had done called on the Black Phone. And the Black Phone is Candace's flip phone from beyond the grave.
Anyway, today I feel that it is time to tell you the entirety of the repeat dream that I was having in those early weeks. Charlie said to me,
I didn't realize she stacked up so much on this dream. This part's new to me, so this is funny to me.
"I don't have much time." He followed that up explaining to me that I needed to see what happened on his left. And he told me explicitly.
But now I understand this is why people in mass are attracted to Roman Catholicism. It's why her audience is a bunch of women that believe irrational nonsense that can't come to logical conclusions. It's because this is effeminate. The whole thing is effeminate. It's why the only remaining Roman Catholic guys that are out there, except for Tim Gordon, are also a bunch of weird, effeminate Skittles people. And even if they're not Skittles, the Roman Catholic apologists that are left are effeminate because they rely on an act in an emotional, effeminate way when it comes to the topics. They cannot read the books. They cannot do the material. They cannot do the logic. They can only react emotionally, even if they're high IQ. You can be high IQ and be a damn beta spurg. And that is the entirety of the Roman Catholic apologetic world. The absolute just recesses of beta male spurgery is who's left defending Roman Catholicism and it's nonsense. It's people that listen to this kind of stuff. So I'm overlooking a lot of when I go into a lot of these analyses of what the heck's going on, I'm actually overlooking a lot of the obvious. This is like basically still feminist bullshit. It's feminized beta male shit. And that's why they listen to this nonsense. No rational man with the power of logos operating in his, thought process is going to listen to a bunch of this bullshit. And likewise, you wouldn't fall for histrionic women Roman Catholic charismatic saints and their ridiculous visions. Think about this. Let's compare this. And I think, if she's not a total just, bad actor who absolutely just hates her audience and thinks that they're so stupid, then it's this, right? Outside of the whole, disinformation thesis. Compare what she's saying to the video that we did here about the histrionic Roman Catholic women saints, which you absolutely have to accept. You can't believe this. You can't reject this and be a Roman Catholic. But there's a lot of factors going on here, right? Like we have a generation of young dudes raised by single moms that makes them beta male and effeminate. And so they don't have a strong masculine archetype that they can model themselves after. And so they're modeled after their moms and they act effeminate. And they cannot reason through things. They're lazy. They rely on AI now. And the AI lies all the time. So that's where we are. That's why things are getting so bad. I mean, wouldn't you want, it seems logical to me that if we're going to look for conservative thought leaders, we would make sure that they were heterosexual. But apparently, no, that doesn't even matter. No, it doesn't matter. Would we look to conservative thought leaders who are perhaps just not women? No, that doesn't matter either. No. Women are now running everything, including the right wing. Why? It's really the fault of all of you guys, really. I'm not talking about my audience. I'm talking about the people in general. It's the fault of all you dummies that listen to these people. And when I'm constantly right about this stuff, do you admit that you're wrong and change your position to match up to reality? No. Everyone acts like children and triples down and acts more retarded.
They betrayed me, multiple people. And I said, I know, but who? It wasn't until the third week after his death that finally one face came through in this dream. It came through as clear as day from around the corner of the restaurant. And it was Andrew Colvetz.
So she's actually arguing that her dreams are telling her who's really at fault here and who's really the problem amongst these. This is so stupid. I cannot believe how many people are falling for this. And what did I tell you several weeks back? I tried to warn you that you can only be retarded for so long before reality crashes in on you. When you defy reality, think of all the people, for example, that think that men can become women. Well, when you defy reality, eventually that catches up to you and reality hits you pretty hard because delusions, you can't make reality from your delusions. You can't cause reality to be the case from your delusions. What do you mean? She needs a priest. She has a priest. She has an insane Roman Catholic priest feeding into her delusions. In the same way, you can double down and triple down on your delusions and your nonsense, and it doesn't become real because you triple down. You don't make reality. You have to learn in this world that reality and truth are objective, and you either submit to it or you get crushed by it. You will be crushed by delusion. It will come home to crush you. Or you change your way of acting and thinking to conform to reality. It's that simple. Childish people, narcissistic, self-worshiping people do not care about what's true, and they will not submit to what's true. They conform reality to themselves. Remember what we just saw with the psychological study that we did with Jim Bob of the character Amy in Gone Girl? If you've not watched it, you should watch it because it's a great portrayal of a psycho female narcissist.
That it's all just
go watch our podcast that we did on Gone Girl, and you'll understand this mindset right here. All right, let's finish this up and then let's get to the debate. But I remember what I was going to say. Like, when you constantly put out bullcrap, I told you guys weeks ago, I said, if you don't have actual proof of the things that you're saying or really good, indications, and you don't say allegedly, you're putting yourself in a position to be sued, right? And that's exactly where it's gotten to now. So some of these grifters that are out here constantly putting out nonsense, and I am not defending TPUSA. I don't have a problem criticizing TPUSA. But when you make accusations and say things like they are a, corrupt, scamming organization, and then you don't have proof, you're liable to possibly being sued. And I said this was coming. I said, you can't just say this stuff. People are so dumb, they think that free speech means that you can accuse anyone of anything. That's not free speech, right? Free speech means that you have the freedom to say what your opinions are, but you cannot accuse people of stuff without any kind of evidence or any proof. Otherwise, you're putting yourself in a position where you're liable to be sued or to sue other people. It's exactly what I said would happen. And now that is happening. This guy who obviously puts up just total bullshit, forget what his name is, something Wolverines of Wall Street or something like that. They're beginning to send out the lawsuit threats, which is exactly what I said would happen. Again, I'm not pro TPUSA. I think that they are a heterodox organization that pushes heterodox ideas, and they push heterodox Calvary Chapel fake pastors. But that's different from saying that I have evidence of this and that, of them committing fraud or whatever. You better have that if you're going to say these kinds of things.
Can only go on so long. Candace Owens getting roasted because she got a bunch of clips coming out where she's talking about time travelers and Sentinel Americans. That's right, robot hybrid. This is not an exaggeration. Okay, I want to slow down a little bit because a lot of people...
I forgot she said this one too. Remember that clip from like a year ago where she said that she thinks Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk are not humans. They're synthoids. So we're going full G.I. Joe level, right? And I remember that I love this. The synthoid thing cracks me up because this was when I was a kid. I think the G.I. Joe synthoid episode, it creeped me out when I was a little kid. So maybe did Candace fall asleep with YouTube playing on autoplay, and she just she started watching the synthoid episode. Yo, Joe. And if you don't know, in this episode, Cobra kidnaps like the Pentagon staff, the generals, and creates mind-controlled human synthoid versions of them. And then he's going to control the government through. So Candace is over here exposing Cobra, right? She thinks Tapusa is Cobra because Cobra's created these synthoids, right? That's where we're at right here. We're at G.I. Joe level bullshit. And all of y'all dummies believe this stuff.
I think this is a joke. There are several clips of Candace Owens saying things like she thinks Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are machines, that we're currently fighting the AI, that they were hybrids, and quote, if she, or I shouldn't quote her because I'm going to say it from her in the second person, if she were to cut them, they would not bleed. Or is that third person? And yeah, they're nuts. She has a clip where she says, why did Charlie text me that he was a time traveler? Is that something people say? And his agents want to stop an outcome. It really was hammered on pretty thick, but she loves doing this mental trick where she doesn't say it explicitly, but she says it, right? Charlie says, I'm a time traveler. That's so weird. Why would he say that? These agents wanted to prevent an outcome, so they stopped him. We get it. She's trying to get you to think that Charlie...
Hail, Cobra! We must watch for Candace!
came from the future, and these agents were trying to stop him from saving the future, or whatever it is he was doing. Well, TPUSA has sent out a cease and desist to a YouTuber who said a whole bunch of wackaloon nonsense, and I'm actually named in the cease and desist because I called him out for the obvious lies. He got mad and responded, and now here we are with the news. Candace Owens, of course, responding, offering, asking for a job at Turning Point.
I told you that you can be in legal trouble by doing this, and the Candace cult is so stupid and so arrogant and just insane and grifty that they're actually experiencing what exactly I said would happen. I said, you could watch. They're going to start sending out lawsuit letters to people who make up nonsense.
What is even going on anymore? Here's the reality, my friends. Candace Owens is a soap opera drama nonsense show. It's not news or real information. She latched onto something people deeply cared about, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. But what her show does is it gives you these cliffhangers. Tune in next week to see what happens. Well, I think it's daily.
That's accurate, and that's exactly what I said. So that was my assessment as well. So then we'll get over here to this guy. I forget his name, but this YouTuber guy, Wolverine, Wall Street Wolverine or something.
Earlier on January 18th, Gregorio, who runs the YouTube channel Wolves and Finance, revealed he got a cease and desist letter demanding that he withdraw statements he made about TPUSA's finances and security at Utah Valley University. Now, the interesting thing is they sent it on a weekend, or he published it on a weekend, which means they don't want a lot of attention to this. Well, Candace Owens chimed in saying, difficult to put into words how terrible of an idea it was for Turning Point USA to send out this cease and desist letter. I'm at the point where I think someone internally absolutely detests Erica and permanently feeds her terrible ideas. It's the only thing that makes sense at this point. I again offer my consulting services to TPUSA. For a monthly retainer, we can end this corporate-ish show.
She's offering her consulting. She's like Miss Cleo now. She's going to be a psychic consultant because of her dreams and visions, right? She's offering her psychic consulting services. I mean, Charlie's talking to her from beyond the grave, so why wouldn't you want her psychic consulting services? Right? I mean, we're at Miss Cleo level, y'all. It's straight up Miss Cleo. All right. Here Candace is right here. This Candace right here.
Don't you really want to know?
Okay, I was wondering who the father of my baby was.
All right, let's take a look.
The father of your baby, Charlie Cork. That's who. That's Charlie Cork.
The Miss Cleo DNA test. I'm solely searching for the father of your baby. Oh, it's the one that's very unpleasant.
Oh,
okay?
my gosh. How does she
and
know
he's
that?
also the one that...
How does she know that? She got a call from the black phone. She got a call from Charlie Kirk and Ethan Hawke on the black phone.
Sure.
I don't know how. The baby looks just like him.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, so you were in denial. 'Cause he has a funny little...
Girl, how did she know that? If she couldn't tell the future, how'd she know that? See, originally, Miss Cleo had the Sumerian technology, okay? And then what had happened was the CIA had come to her, the Men in Black, okay? And they said, give us that or we're going to ruin you. And then what happened? Everybody started coming after. If you remember back in the 1990s, they have to come after Miss Cleo. She got destroyed in the media, and that was the CIA had organized that. And then they took that Sumerian tech from her. Why? Tell me this. Tell me that's not the only conclusion that you could come to from this right here.
You've never had a reading from a real psychic. Try us right now for free. Your father had a stroke at a young age, did he not?
Right.
Did you get
That's Candace right there, y'all. How the hell did she not know that?
strep throat a great deal in your late teen years?
Yes, I did.
Okay. His eyes are almost spooky. They're so pretty.
That would be my ex-boyfriend.
The 5 of swords is next to him.
I like how she says in both cases, she said, it's that one that got that weird chin. It's that one with them eyes that's spooky. They so pretty. That's who the dad is. The one, look at his eyes. Tell me you don't feel that that's the dad when you look in the eyes, by the way. By the way, hey everyone. This dude is still, we're 2 years later, he's still butthurt over this. Do you remember his prophecy? Remember in our debate? This is a little side note because this video popped up. Remember Derek Myth Vision? He said, I will be at 500,000 and then 1 million subscribers in the coming months. He said that 2 years ago. Oh, turns out he's still at 300. He didn't even barely pass 300. When he prophesies, you want me to prophesy? I'm going to be at 500,000 subscribers in no time, and then I'll be at 1 million. this is what happens when you don't submit to truth. When you think you're smarter than you are, and 2 years later, he's still butthurt. Derek Myth Vision. Still making videos about 2 years ago. Now, what happens is the clips channels will revive these, and it makes these people mad when it starts going around again. Which is, I think is pretty funny, ultimately. Shout out to the clips channels, by the way. Y'all keep clipping. And you don't have to create a whole clips channel. If you want to clip my stuff and put it on your normal Twitter profile, go for it, dude. Oh, I misspelled that shit. How you spell that stuff? So we're at 80,000 views on the original one 2 years ago, and he's still upset about this.
Asking Jesus what truth is? Are we saying I'm thinking what the most factual thing is based on observations? And
if all worldviews are... The problem is that he performs so poorly in this and looks so ridiculous. And the comments are like, there's 1,400 comments, and 99% of them are against Derek, that he's still butthurt over this 2 years later. Well, maybe, Derek, you're just wrong. Did you consider the possibility that maybe your position is actually just wrong? All right, let's finish this up because we got to get to this debate.
Turning Point thought they got away with this, but it turns out Charlie's in purgatory and he's giving Candace the answers to everything in her dreams. So they
I couldn't believe that she actually, I did not know that she actually said this. This is making my day right here.
Must be freaking out over this. Like, Candace even texted Andrew Colvett to tell him that she's speaking to Charlie in her dreams and that he told her he was betrayed, and Andrew didn't respond, which obviously means he's guilty.
Yeah, the only reason he wouldn't respond to this schizo level text is because he's guilty. And the only reason that we would criticize this is because of BB bucks. That's the only logical conclusion, is $7,000 BB bucks. That's why, right? Yeah.
Because everyone knows Candace's dreams are the best way to figure out what happened to Charlie. So I think the jig is up for Andrew. He better pray that Charlie doesn't visit Candace again, because if he does, it's over.
I had to text him and tell him what I saw. And this is the text, just sharing with you so you guys know if this all really happened. I said, I rarely have vivid dreams, but I had one clear as day this weekend. Charlie came to me and he sat down and he told me that he did not have much time, that I needed to know that he was in fact betrayed and that they are hiding what happened.
Again, you wonder why things never change in the media sphere, conservatism, the right wing. It's because it's all this bullshit, dude. It just turns into just nonsense. And people love this stuff. They eat it up. And we're basically ruled by everybody's retarded now. Everywhere. Everything and everybody's retarded. That's where we're at. And people don't read books. They don't care. They would rather hear this bullshit, which, you know, Coast to Coast kind of used to be understood as entertainment. You understood it was like not serious, right? There's no guy calling in being triangulated by the aliens talking to George Norrie. It's entertainment. But now that this conspiracy bullcrap has gone mainstream, it's just pure. It's not even Jerry Springer. It's like, it's Miss Cleo, dude. I don't even know how to describe it. It's surreal. It's surreal.
To my left, I believe his soul is in purgatory, and I believe that you know much more than you've said publicly or privately. And Andrew Colvett never answered. Last time Andrew Colvett and I spoke.
So very suspicious stuff going on there. I wonder why he wouldn't respond to such a normal message. You'd think he'd want to know what Charlie's doing in purgatory, but I guess not. He's not.
Does any of this at all wake up the Roman Catholics? No, of course not. They double down, they triple down. You know, I was laying in bed thinking about this. Like, why is it so crazy? Why is everybody so stupid? What is going on? And I think Koof played a big part in this. I think two big psyops played a huge role in this. The first big psyop recently was the 2016 Bruce Jenner. That was the first big psyop, because people were basically forced into a situation, and you could argue Skittles' marriage was that was even before that, right? Bruce Jenner being called Man of the Year, or Woman of the Year, excuse me. Now, this was back when, people cared more about like Vanity magazine. What do you even call those stupid women magazines? Like Glamour or like whatever these magazines are called. Remember, this is, 10 years ago, people had more interest in this kind of stuff, which thank God that's kind of dying out. But does it really even matter that it's dying out? Because like it did its job, right? This giant psyop, like mind graped people on a mass level. And I think people just saw this and it just kind of like fried their brains to a degree, right? How could these mainstream media outlets, which we were bred to trust, and it's not just Glamour magazine, it's all the mainstream together, right? Because they're promoting it on TV too, right? How could they say something so obviously patently false, right?
Jenner dazzles as she accepts the Woman of the Year award from Glamour magazine. The magazine honored Jenner for being a transgender champion.
Maybe this is why God put me on this earth, to tell my story, to be authentic to myself about.
So immediately we see that everybody's being presented with something that is patently just absolutely on its face false. But also everybody is caught in this tug of war between, well, I don't want to be against the group and what everybody says. And if everyone says and the authorities are saying that this is a woman, I guess I have to say that it is. Or else I'm no longer part of the in-group. I'm an outcast, right? And so you had the media en masse in 2016 telling everyone a man is actually a woman now, and they can be whatever they want. This fried a lot of normies' brains, and it caused them to admit the delusion. And here's the thing that I'm noticing. It's not just sunken cost fallacy. It's also when people admit to delusions and they admit to and believe lies, there's also something demonic happening where they have to prop it up, not just because they don't want to be wrong, but because they are committed to it. They believe it. They want it. They want the lie. They want this type of a world where they are their own gods, where they can determine reality. They can determine truth. And to admit even that this is wrong would implicitly, logically imply, deep down they know this, it would imply that, wait, that means I'm not actually God. That means I have to actually submit to things that are true outside of myself. And that's contrary to fallen man. So the sad part about this is that fallen man can be engineered to go against his own nature to the point of self-destruction. That's the sad part. Man would rather, in these extreme states, destroy himself than admit what is true and conform to the true and to reality. Now, that's not everybody. I'm speaking in generalities here, but the normie NPC mass mind submitted to this. And then, of course, we got the coof, right? No need to rehearse all of that. We all lived through the biggest psyop of the last 50 years. We lived through it recently. We all remember it. And we saw a break in people. The normie mind just completely was fried. They snapped. They went insane. And it's not just the normies out there. Half of the church were unbelieving, insane normies, and they went crazy. And I kind of feel like a lot of these people haven't recovered. They're gone. And I don't know exactly the causes of all of that. We could speculate, but I'm not going to speculate because I don't know. But some sort of spiritual delusion, and I don't mean, oh, it's the end times, it's end times. I don't know if it's the end times. I'm saying something happened with people in the last few years that they're gone. And people are different now. They don't. I was watching some videos of people saying that far fewer people celebrate holidays. Far fewer people celebrate birthdays, just kind of normal things, right? So that's where we are. And the sad part then is, in the wake of that, this allows cult leaders to step in and prey on people. They know that masses of people will believe anything, especially in these broken catatonic states, right? This reminds me of the way that Teal Swan acts. Okay, let's take a look at a new age insane cult leader grifter who, when you go to her live talks, this is very perceptive. If you watch the documentary on, I think, Hulu, they did a documentary on her. And they actually did a pretty good job going into her audience. Okay, let's look at this audience. How many dudes do you see? 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 over there. This is a gigantic woman audience, first of all. And she's got some weird beta males up there. Okay. By the way, this is old too. This is like 4 or 5 years ago. And she's got some sensitive new age brother up there. But look at this audience. It's almost all women. So she's connected with these women. I want to find there's better examples in the bigger bigger venues that she does, where it's all women, dude. It's like insane. Like it's all like broken, chunky women. If we can find it's hard to find audience views of this stuff. But when you survey the audience, you can imagine it's all the same stuff. Let's see if we can see here.
I'm going.
Okay, no audience views in that one. All right, here's some audience views. Let's see this audience view. 1 dude, 2 dudes, 3 dudes, all women. All women heads, okay? Now, let me show you what I'm getting at here with this. She does trauma baptisms. She does her own sort of weird version of a baptism. Let's see if we can find any videos of her doing it. It's in the documentary on her from Hulu, if you watch that. There might not be any clips on here doing it where she's doing it. Oh, here it is. This is it. This says Teal Swan. I don't know if that's her getting a trauma baptism or who this is. What is this nonsense? So basically what she does is she finds all of these stupid broken women, and I'm saying they're actually dumb people, and then she grifts for thousands of dollars to come to her retreats, and she does a trauma baptism to heal you from your baby trauma and renounce your father and the patriarchy or whatever nonsense she tells you to renounce. And she literally baptizes you, right? And that's supposed to heal you. It's like a new birth out of the water of birth, right? So she basically just rips off Christian baptism, but makes it the Teal Swan trauma healing baptism. And when you watch the documentary or you watch the live events, it's almost all broken, chunky women. The whole thing, right? So she totally figured out her niche, her market, right? And this is no different than what is happening with these other people like Candace. They're doing the same types of strategies and techniques. So the documentary, by the way, is called The Deep End. And I recommend watching the documentary, not because it's that great, just because it actually shows you a lot of insights into gurus, how they manipulate people, their techniques. It's obviously demonic and deception. It's so stupid. Like you watch this and you're like, how are these people believing this? The funniest part of the documentary is that there's one thug dude there who's like trying to sleep with her. It's like a wigger. I'm serious. There's a wigger who goes to her retreat and he's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I thought, maybe you and I could just go talk or something. And she's like, I feel like right now you really just need to leave my presence. I feel a very negative friend zone vibe. I'm gonna friend zone you right now. That's the funniest part of the documentary is the wigger dude. And he shows up to her event wearing like a Kobe jersey. he's like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, Teal? You know what I'm saying? I've been following you for a while. You know what I'm saying? I like what you say. You know what I'm saying? Look, listen. I'm just ready to like leave the patriarch, you know what I'm saying? So like maybe you and I could just maybe head on over to that pool together, you know what I'm saying? We could do a little bit of relaxing in the pool or whatever. So, and she's like, I feel like right now you're like, you've got a bad energy around you right now, and I feel like you just really need to leave. That might be him right there. I'm not sure. Let's see. I don't think he's in the trailer. He's in the documentary though. He's the funniest part of it.
I got tattooed.
That might be him. I'm not sure. That's a cholo dude. I remember a dude being more of a wigger, but now there's a cholo. It's like, hey, Teal, baby, I totally got like a tattoo of you or whatever. Like, do you think it's cool? Would you wanna like give me like an autograph on it or something, or like maybe let me autograph your titties or whatever? Like I don't know how this works or whatever. Like maybe I could just autograph you or something. Like or maybe we could go back to the hot tub and you could like baptize me or whatever. Like we could just do it like a tit for tat or something. Let's see. I wish the wigger was in it. Let's see.
We hired a private investigator.
My job is to try to figure out if this is a cult or not.
We've had members leave.
What do you think about this list?
I don't want it to ding the copyright. So here's the baptism parts, right?
If you
where
want
she's
to come
baptizing
within
people.
50 miles of me, you better be ready for the deepest end of the pool.
It's like, what are you willing to do for this cause? I was so washed. I'd be willing to kill someone and bury them in the backyard.
So there you go. That's how deep people get into this nonsense.
How many of you feel like you're not doing okay?
There we go. Let's see. Here's the Teal Swan audience. Whoa, what do you know? 95% broken, weird, insane women going by their feelies. Exact same psychology of the audience of these people over here.
True friend and doesn't really care about him. I think they're just using him for his supernatural abilities, which Candace is starting to figure out. That's why Charlie went to an X-Men type of school and thought he was a time traveler and could turn off lights with his mind. She also started getting a bunch of messages after this from her fans about how they also have supernatural abilities. So investigating Charlie Kirk's death led to Candace discovering that her audience has superpowers, and the feds must be losing it over this. They didn't realize they're up against the Avengers.
The weird phenomena is real. lights break above my head when I flipped a switch, cabinets slam when I get mad enough, and I can, I don't know, I guess connect with what I can only describe as stars that respond to my request. So many comments of people reflecting this, that they, yes, when I...
So she got a bunch of drunk wine moms on SSRIs in her comments. Honey, that happens to me too, honey. I can talk to the stars, honey, and they reply. When I say, hey, star, what's up, Pleiades? It blinks back. I'm telling y'all. It blinks back to me.
I run. I was in the GATE program. Lights go out. I told you that was something that Charlie said. We're going to talk about this stuff. We're going to talk about the GATE program. We're going to talk about telepathy. We're going to talk about kids running with street lights that are going off. And yeah, it's opening up a lot. And I think that it has...
This is the stupidest, most insane bullshit. And I cannot believe y'all people believe this stuff. You might as well... Why don't you go follow Teal Swan? Go follow Teal Swan. It's literally like... Is it any more irrational than this bullshit? Remember, Teal Swan had all these stories about how she was raised by an SRA cult and she was sewn up inside dead bodies. Oh, and then it came out, turns out Teal Swan claimed that she was a Playboy model and that she won the Olympics for skiing. I'm not kidding. Now, in a normal, sane world, claiming that you were an ex-Playboy model and that you won the Olympics, none of which is true, you would think that would discredit you. No longer do insane grifter con people stories discredit you. In fact, it makes your audience bigger. Something has happened, and I know I harp on discernment all the time, to where people have not only lost discernment, they actually triple down. The more insanity that comes out about a person, people want to accept it. Yes, perhaps she didn't. No, actually, maybe she did win the Olympics for skiing. Maybe she actually did pose for Playboy. And I think it was even something crazy like she posed for Playboy and they took away her skiing Olympics medal because she was in, I mean, just total nonsense, just total made up bullcrap, dude. J-Man says for $5, all the wine moms on Twitter were saying Candace's dreams are legitimate because dreams are in the Bible. That's the level of people that we're dealing with here. Just absolute, total inability to logically think through anything. I mean, we're at Teal Swan. The whole population is becoming Teal Swan's audience. Teal Swan has 2 million broken, low IQ women following her. And like 5% weird, creepy beta males and like 0.01% wiggers that want to sleep with her. So what does this tell you? That you can be an obvious con woman. And she probably believes this too. Like you can be crazy and believe you're bullshit and be a con woman, right? But then over here, what do we get? We get treated like absolute trash. I have to beg to go on podcasts when I have obviously the best material out here, clear as day. Nobody else lectures through and covers the books that I cover. But if I covered absolute bullshit, maybe I could have 2 million followers or 5 million like Candace or 10 million or whatever. I mean, what does this tell you about society and people in mass in general? It's just sad, man. It's insane. I don't know what to say. Oh, you're only saying that because you're jealous. You're just jealous. You're jealous. Well, if I was a bad-willed, envious, wicked person, why wouldn't I just do the grift? You don't think I could act like Teal Swan and create some kind of weird, dumb New Age cult? Yeah, we're going to get to the CI debate. Relax. But there's too many gems in this that I had to get to. And again, I think this is a good point to parallel this to the Teal Swan stuff. How is the irrationality of Teal Swan's worldview? Like, how is Candace's worldview any different? Explain to me the difference between Candace and her broken wine mom audience and Teal Swan's broken wine mom audience.
I'm quite nervous.
So I'm sure Candace will get a lot of answers to Charlie Kirk's assassination if she investigates the streetlight phenomenon. There's definitely something there. Like maybe Mossad was spying on Charlie using the streetlights, and he used his time traveler energy powers to destroy them, and that's why he was taken out. Or maybe the streetlights were part of the stolen ancient Sumerian technology that the CIA was using to harness Charlie's time traveler powers to see into the future.
This Project Looking Glass in the CIA, I wonder what they saw. Looking into the future, stealing not Egyptian but Sumerian technology, which is what they did. These are culture vultures. They're thieves. They're glorified thieves is what these people are. And they've always been this since the beginning of history. And they stole some Sumerian technology that allowed them to predict outcomes. And that technology stopped working in 2012. We're going to get into that tomorrow. I find it to be fascinating. I wonder if they saw Charlie Kirk.
So I'm surprised Candace didn't tie this.
No, I don't think there's any need to continue after this point to cover this kind of stuff. And if you talk shit to me like that in the chat, I'm gonna ban you. So you can go to heck. And I won't even read. So he says, when are you going to talk about this and stop yapping about women? Goodbye. Fly Guy, $2. Truth hurts people. Yeah, that's why. Fear of the Sirens, $20. Jay, I'm glad you did this. I was one of the people talking shit. As much as I want to justify my reasoning, I'm going to give you $20 as an apology. Hey, it's okay, man. Appreciate you. Fear the Sirens. It takes a lot of humility and a lot of balls to admit you're wrong. And I think that's honorable. I appreciate that. You don't have to pay me money for being wrong. I'm just glad that people can have some discernment. So God bless you, man. Appreciate you coming to your senses. We're almost done with this. Then we're going to go to the debate.
Into the Egyptian plains. I think that's why they're following him around. It's all starting to add up here. Of course, Charlie was a time traveler that had supernatural powers. And the maroon t-shirt beekeeper cult that was following him around in Egyptian plains tried to kill him because they couldn't control his superpowers anymore. And I think that's what the top secret meeting at Fort Huachuca was about. The one that Candace's source, Mitch Snow, happened to stumble into. Also, another development came from that story. Mitch Snow, it turns out, he announced he's actually the son of the Zodiac Killer.
And this dumb audience doubles down on that. Maybe he is. Can you prove that he isn't?
So there are a lot of discoveries being made during this investigation. It seems like we're figuring out the truth about everything except for who killed Charlie Kirk. But we now know he was a time traveler. That's pretty big news. And they're using ancient Sumerian technology that can predict the future. And he was using telekinesis to destroy lights. We also discovered the son of the Zodiac Killer. And now Candace believes she might be an alien sent from another planet that I think was sent here to expose Bridget McCrone for having it.
So we're only a week or two away, I'm telling you, from full Yakub and full Gnosticism. That's where it's going next.
Dick. I think that's what Candace's superpower is. She can spot trans people. So this has turned into like a parody of an X-Men movie.
Charlie Kirk thought that he was a time traveler. He told me he was a time traveler repeatedly. I showed you guys that text message exchange. I said to him in response that I didn't feel the same way and that I thought I was from another planet, that I was an alien my entire life. Just do not get it here. This planet is ghetto. That's how I feel. I don't understand it. The rules don't make sense.
This little sass queen is too good for this damn planet. This is a ghetto planet. I'm about to take my ass to a damn treat yourself planet. Hello? Where the treat yourself planet at? Can somebody get me on the black phone? I'm trying to call the black phone and take me to the damn treat yourself planet.
I think that's also why I like cats so much. I feel that they can relate to that.
Okay, after that, I'm starting to think she just fucking with people. She just fucking with y'all. You heard that right. Let's hear that again. This is a ghetto ass planet, and that's why I'm starting to relate to cats, because I think I'm not from this planet. Hold on, let's hear that again. This was gold, dude. She a sass ass alien right now.
I don't understand it. The rules don't make sense. I think that's also why I like cats so much. I feel that they can relate to that. They think humanity is ghetto. They don't want to be around us. They don't like us. They know it's ghetto.
Shit, take me to that bougie planet. This planet ghetto as hell. This a ratchet ass planet right here. I deserve to be on a bougie planet. I deserve an Escalade. I deserve my own cat army. I deserve 25 cats, but they got to be them pretty Persian kinds. And this planet is ghetto, by the way. Get me off of this damn planet right here.
It is ghetto here, right?
Candace also talked about inexplicable occurrences that happen, like deja vu, sleep paralysis, and her getting engaged to her husband in 18 days. Apparently, that's an unexplained phenomenon, according to Candace, because it's just so unbelievable that a grifter
We're going to go to the debate. Shut up.
would want to marry a rich British lord only a couple weeks after meeting them.
And a lot of weird things used to happen to Charlie. He would go on runs. I think I told you guys this after sundown. And when he was running, street lights would go out. Like it was like he was in a burst of energy, like he was a lightning bolt or something. So there are just.
This is too funny. How are y'all not having a blast with this? Eartha Trap House. This is too much fun. How are y'all getting mad at this? Shut up. We're going to go to the debate.
General, all of these inexplicable experiences that we have in life, and they try to make it weird for us to discuss them. Deja vu is probably chief among them. We all have experienced deja vu. We are certain something happened, that we already did that. Well, guess what? There's no official expert explanation for that. Sleep paralysis, for those of us who suffer that, I had some terrifying experiences before I knew what it was. They don't really give us a full explanation for that. Similar.
I know, I told you, it's even crazier. Now, the only reason we're going to the rest of this clip is the beekeeper part. I didn't even know about the beekeeper part. This gets even another level of it. It's like, what in the hell is happening?
Also,
Earth ash. Hey! This Earth too damn ashy. Somebody get some lotion. Get some Jergens. Earth ashy.
Another
Earth
example.
ashy. Get some Jergens, Jamie. Earth is too ashy. Earth, you play too much. Damn, Earth, you play too much.
Of things that are inexplicable and maybe somehow related to deja vu. The story of how I met my husband. I've told it many times, how I got engaged 18 days later. No one believes me. They don't want to accept it. But I already knew George. That's how I describe it. I saw his face. I know that doesn't make sense.
Y'all got me crying again. Earth ass you. Earth, you play too much. Okay, that one sent me over the line, y'all. Who said Earth too ashy? Oh my gosh. Who said that? That was the funniest joke of the day. Earth too ashy. All right, you win a free book, man. Whoever said that one wins a free book. We got to go back and see who said Earth is too ashy. Oh, I got to catch my breath. Y'all let me know who said that because I want to send them a free book. That was too much. That was too funny, man. Earth, you play too much. I gotta catch my breath. I can't stop laughing. Okay, yeah, I can breathe. Oh, I lost my breath. I can't breathe. I can't catch my breath. Okay. Oh my gosh. Who said that? That was too funny, dude. That was the joke of the day, dude. Earth Section 8. Y'all gotta stop. I'm gonna pass out. Y'all gotta stop. We have the funniest chat on the whole internet. I'm crying. Y'all gotta stop. Oh my gosh. I can't breathe, y'all. I can't breathe. Earth need cocoa butter. Earth need cocoa butter. It's Ghetto Planet. Earth Section 8. Oh my gosh. It was really funny, dude. Who said Earth ashy? That was the funniest joke I've heard in a week. Earth on EBT. Whew. Anyway, whoever said it, if you want a free book, put it in the chat and y'all let me know. That's too funny. All right, I want to hear about the beekeepers part because this is the best part right here.
What had happened that way? I looked at my husband's face and I already knew him. It was like a sigh of relief.
So hopefully Candace...
Man, y'all audience, y'all play too much. Man, y'all play too much.
Keeps pushing all her theories. She's definitely onto something. This investigation has given us a lot of answers, and I really just want to see how far she could take this. You know, it's been 4 months of investigating Charlie Kirk's death nonstop, and somehow she...
Earth don't want no smoke with Candace. Man, y'all hear that? Y'all heard about that beef between Candace and Earth? Candace talking shit, mad shit about Earth. Earth don't want that smoke, though. That's what I heard. Woo! You already got my book? Well, shit. Earth don't want no smoke. Y'all hear about Earth talking shit? Earth and Candace got beef right now. They beefing.
Up with new theories every day, and people think they're getting crazier, but maybe that's just because they know she's telling the truth and they're worried. You know, that's definitely what's going on here, so hopefully she keeps pursuing the truth. Like Alex Jones, he's been going nuts over this. I think it's making him physically sick. He said he's trying not to pay attention anymore because it's just driving him insane.
I kind of swore it off about a week and a half ago because, I mean, I had a lot of serious stuff to cover and research. And I'm spending hours a day researching her lies and feeling crazy while I'm doing it. Like getting mad and depressed for the first time ever. And like starting to really hate her face and like, oh God, how did I notice how evil she is? And just how she looks like a demon, like a big gremlin. And then I started noticing all the other lies she was telling. And I was like, oh my God. I asked friends and family, I actually prayed about it. I said, should I disengage? And most people were like, yeah, just the people will figure it out. So I'm like, and then today I'm like, he's like, yeah, the time traveling and the looking glass. And I'm like, you're joking, right? And then I go look it up. It's all true.
I'm the one that I sent that to Alex at 3 a.m. and he didn't believe what I sent him. He's like, is this real? He thought that I sent him satire. He was like, you're sending me your satire. What is this? No, Alex, this is real.
It's like, well, so after today, unless there's just something I've got to do, because Nietzsche said, don't look at the abyss too long, you turn into the abyss, or don't fight monsters too long, you turn into them. I'm swearing her off.
You look at her show and hear what she's saying and the amount of people that believe everything she says, and it's like, holy shit, she's definitely onto the truth. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, I think she's a total nut job, but I do want to see how far she's willing to go and how many people still buy into this lunacy. So I encourage her to keep pushing.
Okay, what was the beekeeper thing? I know this guy mentions it.
I think she's almost there. She almost has the answers, but let me know what you guys think about it all down in the comments. And make sure you check out my Patreon. I just posted a big video on there about how Joe Rogan's friend Kurt Metzger accidentally called out Joe on his own podcast for being a Luciferian. And also...
here's Gerald talking about it. I just want to see what it is.
Polish underground
I just want to see what it
symbol.
is. We're going to go to the debate. Shout out to Gerald, by the way, for having me on. We had a great conversation with Gerald about apologetics. Oh, man, I'm still laughing.
A Polish communist underground symbol that nobody would have recognized outside of people who know what it meant. Strangely, I'm not kidding, and I'm going to show you these messages. I came
Here come the
across
receipts.
what looked to me like a bunch of people talking about bees.
Okay.
I think that all these people are really actually, quote unquote, bee farmers or saying
It's
that
called a
they
beekeeper.
farm
Yeah.
bees.
There's a
What
movie
is
about
this
it.
lingo that I'm not understanding?
Dude, what the hell is this bullshit? I mean, is it basically just every episode is a new X-File and like I've just missed? This is from 2025. I didn't even know about the beekeeper thing. What the hell is this?
There is some weird underground, it's like I sense like imminent danger is coming. And for some reason, I feel like there is an underground that has emerged at schools and it's like related to bees.
Let's talk about bees.
An underground at schools that relates to bees? Oh my gosh. All right, we'll watch this later because that's just enough of this. This is just like, what the fuck is going on, dude? This is so crazy. It's all Miss Cleo, dude. All right, let's get to the debate. Let's kick it off with the heated part of the debate, and then we'll get to the larger, longer debate to see if it's worth continuing. So we're going to focus on the main part of what I saw, the clip that popped up. By the way, if you like the stream, if you would hit like and share. You can also support the stream through Super Chats. Let's read a couple Super Chats before we go to the meat of today's discussion. Man, y'all play too much, man. Y'all audience play too much. Man, y'all play too much. Damn, y'all play too much. All right, let's see. We got Lil John says for $10, can you say, yeah, what? Okay. Anonymous says for $1, are there any new movies coming out that you think are worth watching? Housemaid is not worth watching. It was pure feminism. Greenland will be fun if it, if you like those kind of end of the world things. Avatar, no, I hate Avatar. Bone Temple, it'll be worth analyzing because of the esoteric occult stuff. But actually, there is a bunch of movies coming out that I think look good. And I meant to do a trailer reaction stream, but I forgot to do it. So if we move through the debate quick enough, we'll watch some of these, and I'll tell you which ones I think look like they're going to be pretty good. Because I believe it or not, I actually saw probably 10 upcoming movies in 2026 that I think look like they might actually be pretty good. All right, so let's get to the super chats and get to this though. Let's say Lil John. No, we did that. Tain't Nothing, $5. You need to do some kind of Frank Sinatra cover of something. I don't know if I have a good enough lounge singer voice. Maybe. Blue check, $5. What's up, man? Jay, I'm new. I recently advised someone on Orthodox churches. You recently advised. You said, check out Russian, Ukrainian. I didn't say anything about Ukrainian. Serbian, Romanian, Antiochian. Should I learn Old Church Slavonic? Unless you're gifted with languages. But no, you don't have to learn that to go to the services. Most of the time, there's at least a significant portion of the service that's in English, unless it's all, immigrants or something. Christian J, I'm warning you, you are being watched right now. Uh-oh. Hush Tones, $2. John Kiriakou is Greek Orthodox. Scottish says for $5, victim mentality has to be removed from society. Yeah, well, as we saw in the virtuous victimhood paper that we cite all the time, the psychology paper, you can never remove victimhood from an egalitarian society because it becomes a currency by which cunning people can find traction. In fact, if you guys watch the analysis that we did of Gone Girl, that's exactly what the psychopath Amy does. Everybody should watch that to figure out female psychopathy and how cunning females can also get traction and gain power in society through virtuous victimhood. RM, $5. What is your take on the event? Why aren't you questioning the narrative? I did question the narrative. I've asked many questions. We did podcasts at the time. How come you don't have an answer? Who gives a fuck what Candace says? Well, good for you, man. The question that, unfortunately, I don't have the answers for you. We don't know exactly what went down. So maybe have some patience and wait for the trial and quit being an idiot. Alderbana, $5. Look up the Mighty Boosh and its skit called Future Sailors. It is ultimate cringecore for candy. I think you'll enjoy the series. I like Mighty Boosh quite a bit. It's really funny. We've referenced it many times. I've watched, I don't know, not everything, but I've watched many episodes of it. It is funny, wacky British humor. I would love to eventually do some kind of a show like that. This is on the BBC, so they have a tendency to copyright it, so I'll have to check it out later, but thank you for recommending it. There it is in the chat if you guys want to check it out. Ozzy, $5. Do you actually think that Mercedes is better than a Ford? I'll debate you on it. I'm not going to debate you on cars, dog. RM, $5. You're just talking shit and you didn't say anything. Tell us what happened in the assassination. Yeah, I'm just talking shit. I have nothing else to say. There's no quality content over here. We don't actually lecture through 500, 700,000 page books. It's all just me talking shit. There's literally nothing happening here. JV, $1. I had a dream that you unbanned me on YouTube. How are you super chatting me if I banned you? Well, Emmanuel, what's up? I don't have evidence, but the chat told me in a dream that this is a super chat. Oh, it's getting deep right here. RM says again for $10, you better answer my super chat. This is the third time I've sent it. I don't care about your take on Candace, bro. You sound like you're mad. We're over here having fun. I think you need to go have some fun. It's Jacob, $10. You're mad that you're not in the Candace cult. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Just all jealous. You jealous? He jealous. That boy right there jealous. None of your business, $5. If Candaceism people, if Candy's people talk to you from the grave and they time travel and they exist with no justification for the position, then actually Miss Cleo has a more coherent worldview. Oh, a significant challenge. Good God the Father, $5. Idiocracy underrated as the most accurate documentary where we're going exactly. Sneed for speed, $5. A supposed ex-Freemason said that he thinks it started with Brokeback Mountain. The Skittles Wars started. Could be. JT, $7. If you're one of these idiots that doesn't know what's real anymore, what is the answer? Is it education or is there no hope? I mean, it's a combination of many things, right? Hush Tones, $3. Candace just said on Twitter that she has a new tip on who took out JFK. That will be on her show tonight. Yeah, every show just changes the subject matter to another conspiracy to deflect away from the bullshit of the previous week. So again, we're only a few weeks away from Gnosticism and Yakub. Andrew, $10. Jim Bob made a good point. Where the F is Candy's husband in all this? Girls constantly talking shit about dreams of another man. Is this not a problem for the dad? I mean, for the husband? Interesting. Skittles, cuck. That's his question. Onyx, $5. Just saying, Candace Cringecore track would go hard right now. Citizen, $5. It was the black-eyed children. We're talking about the conspiracy world. It was the black-eyed children or the black-eyed peas. Exactly. J-Man's, $5. The Y moms on Twitter are citing Candace because dreams are biblical. Exactly. Definitely. Got owned. Fear the Sirens, $20. Jay, I'm glad you did this stream. Oh, that's the guy that apologized. Shout out to him. Fly Guy. It's the truth, and the truth hurts. Sneed for speed, $5. Are you going to ever talk about the debate or keep talking about how about dumb women are? You pissed me off with that comment, so you got banned. Me too, $6. We need a Netflix show. Nubian Queen meets her Egyptian white husband, Charlie Cork. Maddie, $2. More synthwave, please. Christian, $5. My wife fits with all this emotional starseed stuff. How do you reach these people who are in this mode of thinking? That's a good question. Because people that have surrendered their reasoning, which is what this is, it's difficult to actually, you can't reason with them. So, I'm not sure what to say, what to do. Maybe you could try the Dr. Phil route. And I'm being serious, right? So what does Dr. Phil always say? Because if you try to debate these kinds of people, all the defense mechanisms go up. So you're not going to debate them out of it. So what Dr. Phil usually does is introduce the seeds of doubt method. And I'm being serious. Maybe that actually works, right? He says stuff like, is it possible that maybe you're not actually from planet Pluto? Is that possible? Right? So he just asks them questions in a very, non-aggressive way. He says, well, okay, so you have this theory. I believe that you believe in the starseed bullcrap, but is it possible that the starseed stuff isn't true? Maybe you're not actually a special starseed, right? So you could go in that route and start planting the seeds of doubt. That might actually be the only way really to get through to some of those people. Flavia says for $10, she has toxoplasma Gandhi eye brain. Well, she is into cats. That is a possibility. Hawes, $5. She has to be running deliberate disinfo. This is like level 100 Franzia wine mom philosophy. I mean, we've been saying, different theories. We'll have to see. I think time will tell what the right theory is, whether it's intentional disinfo, whether it's actual psychosis, whether it's, time will tell. Ultra Void, $10. When I go running and I look up, there are lights that blink in the sky. I might need help. Well, those are called satellites, dude. Soccer, $5. This earth play too much. I see y'all in Agartha with Chorley. Damien, $2. Maybe the cats and the Toxoplasma gondii made her schizo. Zane, $10. Is she controlled opposition? Is she there to distract and confuse? Well, we considered that possibility. We considered the possibility of allegedly all kinds of different things. Aurelia Moran, $10. Speaking of her husband, where is he? Does he not care that she's saying all this crazy stuff on a public platform? Fair question, as Jim Bob asked. It's not like they need money. True. Ultra Void, $10. Watch the movie Beekeeper. It has some good action scenes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think she's talking about a Jason Statham movie, but in Candace's mind, the Jason Statham movie is probably also relating to the Charlie Kirk Beekeeper conspiracy. Aqua Note, $10. Thanks for what you do. It's entertainment, it's literature, it's debates. You're actually awesome. Thank you. It's nice to hear some people who actually understand what's going on over here, who enjoy what we're doing. They get that we provide real infotainment. Brand Comfort, do an Eddington movie review. Maybe. I think Jamie and I talked about it. Let's Talk God. Earth had a dream, and Candace will marry a Wigga. True, $5. You missed my first super chat. I'm sorry. I'll try to find it. Jackson, $5. Did you see the trailer for the Black Moses movie? Yes, we played it on a stream a few nights ago, maybe a week ago. Twin Wings, $5. Have you seen the movie Metropolis? Yes, it's an entire chapter in my second book. It's also, I did a podcast many years ago. Let's see if we can find that lost podcast that we did with those, I think it was conspiracy guys in Nashville. I don't remember their name, but let's see if it comes up. Oh, it's right here. This is it. 3, but
yeah, I mean one and 2 are great though, and I mean not only is it,
I can't believe this still comes up. But yeah, so if you just type in J Dyer Metropolis, you get this podcast we did with these. Wow, 6 or 7 years ago. It's crazy. This is the what was the name of these guys' podcast? I forget that. They're in Nashville, Conspiranormal, and they did a conspiracy podcast, and that's me and my flip-flops there. So outside of this giant hotel they built in Nashville, they put up a binary pylon honoring H.G. Wells. I know it's really bizarre, but there you go. Look at that. Look at that nonsense. Let's see. Did we get any other pictures? Remember in this podcast, we actually did a tour of Nashville, but I don't know if I put any more pictures in here. Let's see. What is this? We took a picture of, that's outside the Westin. Okay, yeah, so they cite Goethe on the ground, which is weird. Anyway, here's what you're asking about. So I would say check out this classic. By the way, to the Clippers, if you want to clip, there's a lot of gems in these old, forgotten, lost podcasts. So feel free to clip away at those. Lico Joe, $10. Earth been ashy lately. Earth have been ashy. Derek, $5. I had a dream. Yakub said Earth ghetto. That means it's true. Correct. Let's Talk God, $5. I agree with Candace. The Vatican's time traveling Ghostbuster team will provide evidence very soon. Banana up the butt, $50. Jay, please use your quantum brain to solve the murder. all the ex-spies shows and critics like this Spy versus Spy comic from Mad TV show that opposites synthesize. The opposition is needed to spread the myths about the agency to validate it. Very possible. Again, as we said, even defectors, even whistleblowers can at times be disinformation. I'm not saying that that is the case about John Kiriakou. I don't actually know. I will say that he does, in some interviews, especially this one, he's a very anti-CIA critic. And then in other interviews, for example, the Lad Bible channel, they did an interview with him, and he starts talking about who would be good recruits for the CIA, which almost sounds like he's promoting it. So it was a little odd wording, but maybe I'm misinterpreting his wording. But thank you for that fat super chat, banana of the butt. Kara says for $5, Jaquavius, when are you going to drop a new cringecore banger called Earth Ashy? Earth is ghetto. Earth is ashy. That might be something to work with. Right? I'll have to get with Dr. Evo on that one. True C, $5. I was saying you should react to Drewski's mega church pastor skit. It's short, but it is hilarious. I saw it. It was funny. Yeah, we should react to that. Jay Chabelle, $5. Do you have a movie analysis for one battle after another or Anemone? No, I've not actually seen those, so I'll have to check those out. All right, let's get to the debate, or we're never going to get to it. Let's see.
Working with Russian state media.
Oh, because I've got 5 kids and nobody's beaten a path to my door to give me work. You know, this is all part of the overall plan. It's, again, my lawyer said, this isn't about John Kiriakou. This is bigger.
So for people who don't understand Andy's question, John has been hosting a radio show for a number of years for RT.
7 years now.
7 years.
For Sputnik Radio.
Sputnik Radio.
Yeah, Sputnik Radio. The government, I think, or the agency maybe, would have been perfectly happy if I starved to death from lack of work or ended up at McDonald's. And I worked hard to rebuild my life. The only people who offered me a job were the Russians. And when they first offered me this job, I turned it down. And then 6 months later, they came back and said, we'd really like to offer you this radio show. And I said, you know, the only way that I would do this is if I were free to say anything I wanted and to talk about any issue I wanted. And they said, done. And I said, yeah, but I would want to be able to criticize even Vladimir Putin. Done.
Now, on the face of it here, this seems very plausible. Nothing really seems out of the realm of possibility or inaccurate with this. This does seem like what would typically happen. If you guys remember, there were multiple people who were, American-based reporters. I don't mean based in the right-wing sense, but based in America, who in the last 15 years or so went and worked with RT for a time period. For example, Abby Martin said, oh yeah, I went to work for RT. I did the show there, and she had a very similar story that she would only do it if she was allowed to criticize Putin and the government or something to that effect. There was another girl that worked for RT. And then she left. I forget who that was, right? She left saying, I wanted to criticize Putin more. And then she ended up going to like CNN or something, right? So let's hear what she says.
And tell me this, I mean, you, in the clip we played at the start, when you made your dramatic statement, you conceded you weren't an expert in what is going on in Ukraine, or indeed in Ukraine itself. I presume now you've probably come up to speed pretty quickly, given all the attention that you've had. What do you think, with all your experience of broadcasting on RT America, is the correct way for this crisis to be resolved?
I hope it resolves diplomatically, Piers. You know, you can imagine the last couple of days have been pretty hectic. I haven't really been able to keep up with the day-to-day, but I just hope for a peaceful outcome with no more military aggression. I hope the military aggression scaled back, and I hope we can see a peaceful outcome. But I think that the real question that should be asked is, why do I have to work for RT to tell the truth about corporations and the U.S. government?
Now, a lot of people in the American media will latch onto this kind of stuff and they will make a big deal about it. But there's the reason that she's saying this, and the reason that this is the case, is that the Russian doctrine of psychological warfare, or what you call active measures or whatever, like they adopted a position many years ago that because in the global chess game they were a smaller nation state, a smaller power. Not that they're not a world power, but that they don't have the same degree of influence and power that the Western media has. They determined that it was much more effective to just go with actual truth telling versus the regime of the West, the empire's strategy of relying on mass deception. Now, I am not saying that every report or everything that RT did or Sputnik did or has done is always accurate or correct. I'm saying that that's the doctrine of Russian media operations for many, many years, was to rely on a more truthful approach. And usually smaller people have to do this, right? Just think about this in a microcosm way. If you're a media person who has a small channel and you want to grow your audience, it's probably a little more effective to, maybe in the past this was true, maybe it's not even true anymore, right? Maybe Candace has shown that no, actually just making up crazy bullshit is more effective now. I don't know, maybe but I think the attitude of journalism, which is totally different nowadays, right? If you go back 10 years ago, journalism was much more truth-based and truth-focused. Nowadays, maybe that's all dead. Maybe nowadays it's different, and this older model of, truth-based journalism is dying out, and it's all just cult of personality now. It's the era of the face lords, right? But at least 10 years ago, when this was 11 or 12 years ago, I think the attitude was still this facade of, no, actually journalism is a fourth estate. They're trying to find the truth. And so, Abby Martin was an example of someone at least pretending to, or purporting to. I mean, I'm not saying she's totally fake. I have pretty big criticisms of Abby Martin. She's a big, just kind of ridiculous leftist. And no, it has nothing to do. Oh, she boycotts Israel. Well, I mean, if you're a leftist, why do you care? I mean, if you're an atheistic socialist leftist, who cares what Israel does? It doesn't matter. There's nothing wrong with it. So if you don't have a moral framework or paradigm from which you believe that it's actually wrong to do something, your only motivation is just going to be secular humanist ethics. I mean, it's empty, right?
I mean, seriously, you guys are beholden to advertisers that you cannot criticize, and that's why I work for a station that I can criticize.
Hang on.
Now, see, I think there's some truth to that, right? It's in Russia's interest to allow truth to come out that would actually hurt Western corporations or the state, the superstate, et cetera. So there's actually some truth to that for sure. Yeah. Probably more controls on what you can say in Fox or CNN media versus what you could say, at least, I don't know about now. I mean, I think, when the Ukraine stuff popped off, I think the West pretty much started blocking RT, but you get the point.
Hang on a sec. I'm free to say what the hell I like.
Sure.
No one's ever told me I can't criticize advertisers or corporate entities. That conversation has never happened in the 3 years I've been on air at CNN.
Fair enough, Piers, but
Come on. Who really believes that? Who believes that CNN and Fox News don't tell people don't attack big pharma, right? That's complete bullshit right there.
I think a lot of people deal with self-censorship all across the media spectrum.
Well, I certainly don't. That's probably one of my problems. Anyway, Abby Martin, good to talk to you. I want to read a statement. This is to CNN from RT about your particular situation, saying RT journalists and hosts are free to express their own opinions, which is what Abby Martin did in her programme Breaking the Sun on Monday. She's not been reprimanded for doing so, something that she herself confirmed in her programme the following evening. Abby, thank you.
Anyway, so that, I think you could say, he's either in a kind of an Abby Martin situation, or he's even a little more anti-American than perhaps. I don't know. I mean, Abby Martin is pretty, I mean, is she just a socialist? And I've appreciated some of the stuff. Like, she's done some really good reports on fluoride and, stabby. I think she even covered stabbies back in the day. And so she had a pretty decent, legitimate conspiracy tendency. But then it turned into like, I remember her putting up like rainbow Skittles stuff on her Instagram or something. So it just like this, anytime leftists try to, take on these causes, it's destined to fail.
And I said, would you put that in writing in the contract? And they said yes. And they did. And I'll give you an example. On the day of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, I opened the show by saying that I unequivocally condemn the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and I call for Russian forces to depart Ukraine immediately. I criticize. I'll give you another example. Do you remember in York, England?
This is interesting because this is exactly what happened with Abby Martin. This is a repeat of that, right? The Western CIA media would say, how dare you be on Russian state media? Well, countless people go on Russian state media, right? Larry King had a show with RT. Ben Swan had a show with RT. Rick Sanchez went from CNN to RT, right? And it's for most people, it's not a spy espionage situation. It's paying the bills. Like if you're in media, media paychecks are sometimes challenging to come across. So, if you're not an entertaining live streamer, then you're going to be thinking in the boomer mindset of, I need some kind of, paycheck from an established media source. So it makes perfect sense why they would do this.
I'm going to say 5 years ago, a Russian dissident and his daughter were poisoned with Novichok. We were doing a story.
Now, by the way, we covered this. We covered the whole Skripal story, which is full of holes and is quite preposterous, honestly. But unfortunately, I think Kiriakou supported the Western narrative that, Putin sent them to be poisoned.
On it. And my co-host said, well, it could have been the Ukrainians in a false flag operation. It could have been the Russian mafia. I said it was the KGB or whatever they're calling themselves. Now, they've been poisoning people since the 50s. This is what the Russians do. They poison people. Of course it was the Russian government. So they let me say anything I want. I've never, ever received any pushback. And I make a handsome living. Like I've always said, if CNN's got an offer, or MSNBC, or even Fox. I'm on Fox at least every other week. I'm all ears. But, 5 kids, 3 of whom still need to get through college, I make no apologies.
That is an interesting approach to just simply be like, I did it for a paycheck. That honest, self-motivated, I'm out here doing this media for myself. I think there's a lot of pros to that kind of honesty. So I would say he's probably telling the truth. I don't detect that. I mean, what would we think here? Maybe he's the CIA sent him secretly in to be an infiltrator into Sputnik. I mean, I don't think that's even necessary. They don't really need that, right? Because they can just simply shut down RT as they did, when the Ukraine stuff popped off. It's not like they need to have some embedded voice or mouthpiece over there, which, how much traction is that really going to get anyway? And how big is Sputnik's audience anyway? Like, is John, I'm not saying, I know John Kiriakou has a large Twitter profile, but like, is Sputnik, does it actually have some gigantic 470,000? It's not massive in terms of media. It looks like they're probably deboosted. They get 90 likes, 20 likes, 50 likes. They're not even reaching a gigantic audience over here on X. So it's not like there's some, serious threat to the Western power structure from Sputnik.
So then when you became a sworn officer of the United States.
And for those that don't know, right, Kiriakou is the whistleblower because the CIA prosecuted him. And I think under the Obama administration, I think he ended up getting cleared, right? So he's not happy with the CIA. And then you've got Bustamante here, who, oddly enough, claims to be loyal to the CIA, and yet he wants to leave this country because this country is going to collapse. So there's a lot of things I think about what Andrew Bustamante puts out publicly that just simply don't really make sense. Like, why are you loyal to the United States government and the Central Intelligence Agency if this country is on such a bad course that it's about to collapse and you're going to leave the West? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
What was your intention? Was your intention to make the United States, to like protect and expand the superiority of the United States, or was it something else? Did you think you were making a better planet? Because you have to know that by affiliating your name with Russian state media, you might get to say anything you want, but that doesn't mean that's what goes to air. When it gets translated into Russian, it can be whatever they want it to be.
It's a live show.
So now, Sputnik is going to censor and change what Kiriakou says when it goes to to the Russian audience. I mean, is that? I mean, I guess that's possible, but do they really have to do that? Do they need to do that? Again, it's not like John Kiriakou is going to say something that's going to bring down America. You know what I mean? It's like this is a little, to me, it seems a little overly dramatic, as if he's going to say something as a person who was prosecuted by the CIA that the Russian government's going to have to censor what he said on Sputnik. I doubt that.
It's in English?
It's an internet show, right?
It's terrestrial.
Also broadcast.
But they're going to have the rights to make out of it whatever they want to make out of it. And your name and your affiliation that is exactly the foundation for how Russian covert influence operations happen.
Aw, poor CIA. There's a former CIA guy working for the Russians. He may do some damage to the American government. Fuck the American government. What have they done for me? What have they done for my children?
Do you really
violate my rights?
Do you really not know the answer to that?
Now, this is where this discussion gets interesting because, again, Kiriakou is playing the just full-on, straight-up honesty approach, right? No dancing about, no tap dancing, no tiptoeing around it. No, it's just like, fuck the government, I don't care. Which, again, I think this comes off as more authentic to the audience, right? And the thing I like about this debate is that it's not as easy to delineate right and wrong in geopolitical stuff. So it's a little more challenging. You know, if you're debating something like theology, typically there's something that's right or wrong. Typically there's the interpretation is either right or they're just flat out missed it and they're dumb. But when it comes to the ethics and morals of international relations, a lot of that stuff's very hairy. It's very iffy. So yeah, let's see where Bustamante takes his critique next, because this is where it gets really fascinating.
Come on, man. It was the CIA that put me in prison. What in the world do I owe the CIA?
It was your decisions that put you in prison.
It was the CIA.
So notice this, right? Kiriakou says, I don't like the CIA. They put me in prison. They prosecuted me. Bustamante says, no, your decisions put you in prison, not the CIA. Now watch where the next turn, watch where Bustamante takes this.
CIA's law breaking that put me in prison.
Kiriakou retorts by saying, no, the CIA broke the law, and that's why they put me in prison, because I called out the bad behavior. Now, this is, in my opinion, so far, we're only 4 minutes in, this is a devastating statement by Bustamante. What he says right here is so just bad from a debate perspective. I can't really fathom why he said this, unless it's just so difficult to defend the American deep state. like why would you say this? Listen to what he says.
Your choice to highlight the CIA's law breaking to media that put you in prison.
Your choice to highlight the CIA's law breaking is what put you in prison. Wow. What? So did Bustamante even realize, from a debate perspective, he just conceded John Kiriakou's point? He just admitted the CIA was law breaking, not John Kiriakou. Well, law breaking then means that it's the CIA that was actually guilty and not Kiriakou in this argument.
Go. So we're in agreement then.
See, now Kiriakou was smart enough to realize that and said, yes, exactly. Thank you. You conceded my point right there. So we're in agreement.
Your children's, they live every day under the protection of.
Now, what did Bustamante do when, I don't know if he realized that he just messed up in admitting that, because what does he do? He deflects to an emotionally charged topic. He deflects to children. John, your children grow up in America. How dare you go against him? So he goes to an emotional appeal, right? And that's a fallacy. So he shifted away from the point where he just got caught, pretty much lost the debate, to switching to an emotional appeal topic. Oh, John, your children.
Of the United States. They have all the benefits of America.
What does the children benefit that's accrued under the American constitutional government, supposedly, what does that have to do with John's claim or assertion that that Bustamante admitted that the CIA broke the law? Has nothing to do with it. So this is a red herring and a deflection as well.
American citizens, you get to enjoy. You're here on an American podcast. You flew on an American airline.
This is a guilt trip. So suddenly now all of the businesses that exist in America, airline flights, having a job, all of that is actually due to the honor that you owe to the state. Excuse me, what exactly does the state have to do directly with having an airline flight or having a business? And you see this from, and I'm gonna sound a little libertarian here. And I think this is a valid point libertarians make sometimes, which is, wait a minute, the federal government doesn't get any credit for me running a business. Now, you could argue that indirectly, yes, there is a degree of rule of law here, which is quickly dying away, right? Which allows for the flourishing of a business. But there's no direct relationship between the existence of the federal government and my ability to fly on an airplane. I mean, this is just such a reach. It's so silly, honestly.
Staying in an American protected
what
hotel.
What do you think my children's memories
are?
The
police officers driving around the streets right now, all of these people are contributing to the...
Okay, the police officers driving around the street, that's local law and order. It has nothing to do with the federal government. It has nothing to do with the CIA. Absolutely nothing. So this is all a very elaborate deflection, as I think you guys can all see, from his disastrous admission that the CIA was guilty of law breaking.
Freedoms that you have.
Oh, wow.
All of them.
Wow.
And you're sitting here saying...
You're a true believer.
I'm a true believer in the fact that we...
And so Kiriakou calls him out as a propagandized true believer, right? Now, does Bustamante really believe all this and think this, or is he just sort of doing what he's supposed to do? It's hard to say.
Have to serve the American dream. We have to serve the American purpose.
Now, as you guys know, we are lecturing through several books and have lectured through several books, such as Burton Hirsch's Old Boys, which is the text that we're working through right now, which is about the history of the OSS and the CIA. Does the OSS and the CIA actually serve and protect the American dream? Absolutely not. The CIA is a private army for very wealthy people. That's what its purpose is. But the CIA has a great arm of propaganda and has been very effective in the last 50, 60 years, especially throughout the Cold War, of convincing people, no, we actually are the heroes. We go out there and we do the good stuff and we save America from the terrorists and all this stuff, right? Well, I mean, perhaps some of that happens, but it doesn't follow from that the entire, everything that I owe everything to the state, right? This is some sort of weird statist idolatry almost. And that's, I think, why Kiriakou was correct to say, oh, well, you're a true believer.
That's what we're here to do.
And that's exactly what I'm doing by opposing the American government.
This is a great turn of the argument against Bustamante. And you see this, I think, in a lot of political debates, especially on the notion of allegiances and what is true patriotism. So wait a minute, if my desire as an American citizen is to actually protect the American dream, then don't I have to oppose law breaking by the CIA and corruption in government? That's the very thing, Bustamante, that you just admitted 1 minute ago when you said, yeah, you're in prison because you exposed law breaking. So then you're admitting that Kiriakou was a patriot. So, I mean, he's just digging his hole deeper by these ridiculous red herrings and deflections.
You don't oppose the American government by making yourself a voice for Russian state media.
Why not?
Because you're not
Actually, you would oppose the American government by making yourself a voice of Russian state media, and that's exactly what Bustamante had implied at the beginning of the discussion. I mean, so again, he's contradicted himself. Remember at the beginning of the discussion, he said, you have signed up with Russian media to oppose the Russian government. I mean, to oppose the U.S. government. But now he just said, you don't oppose the U.S. government by signing up with the Russian media. I mean, like, how many minutes ago was that? 4 minutes ago, you said that is exactly what it is. So it's, again, like calling out these contradictions, right? And this is, look, here's the thing about CIA people, media people, trained propagandist people. They're not actually that good at debating. They're very good at tricking people, deflecting, cunning tactics. But listen, I'm telling you, I've been debating people for 25 years or more. I've debated some of the top debaters out there. You guys know this. I would say I'm an expert, master debater. He said it. He said it. I would say I am actually probably an expert debater. I will probably say that. Sure. Okay. Most people, even intelligent people, even establishment people, they're not very good at it. You think that, oh, they're, on TV, it's Piers Morgan, it's Andrew Bustamante who's in this. You think they're going to be these masters at everything. He's performing terribly in this debate, actually. Now, I don't know what kind of training John Kiriakou has. I don't know if he had classical liberal arts training, but what I can already deduce so far is I don't think Bustamante is a very good debater at all. And he's getting absolutely trounced so far by Kiriakou.
Talking out about the American government, first of all. What you're talking out about is Putin's invasion of Ukraine.
No, I talk about the American government every single day.
So whoever you're speaking to,
yeah.
you are giving credibility and authority and you're loaning all of your hard work to Russian media for a paycheck.
This is a little disingenuous because it's as if no one in the CIA or in the U.S. media is operating under those same motivations. So Kiriakou went with the just pure, as we'll take it at face value here, pure honesty approach. Yeah, I'm here for the paycheck. And then that puts Bustamante in an interesting position because that means that Bustamante then has to criticize him by saying, well, we're not in it for the money. We're in it for patriotism. Really? And who's actually going to buy that these days, right? I mean, it's almost like Bustamante is approaching this like it's 2005 or 1990s media where people would actually believe the establishment and the government and not immediately think that, what do you mean? Come on, you work for a paycheck too. What are you talking about? It's not ultimately for patriotism.
I don't see how that's a problem.
Because if you didn't come from CIA, they wouldn't care about you.
So
you're borrowing the authority of CIA. That's what makes you valuable to Russian media.
Well, I mean, this is silly because the same line of critique, this is not a very good line of critique. This could equally apply to Bustamante. The only reason that people are going to listen to Everyday Spy and Andrew Bustamante is because he's taking from the CIA this pedigree of time and, study that he had in the CIA and these operations. And so he's going to create his company based on that. Well, how is that any different than what Kiriakou's doing? The only difference is that it's not his own company, it's Sputnik. So again, these are really disingenuous lines of argumentation.
I'm able to expose crimes that I witnessed in the CIA, sure. And maybe that gives me a little bit more cachet.
John Kiriakou, separate of CIA, would not be of interest to Russian media. So what?
Yeah, but that's irrelevant. It's almost like this line of argumentation is intended to again, impugn the motives of John Kiriakou to say that you're just stealing the CIA name and identity to give yourself credibility. So, but by the way, it's not theft if he actually has that pedigree. So again, it's a fallacy of irrelevance.
Makes John Kiriakou.
That's not true. That's not true. I have a dozen colleagues who have been sort of leaders in their field, have nothing to do with the CIA, that also host shows because they bring something to the table.
They're leaders in their field.
Yeah. Okay. So I was one of the government's leading experts on the Middle East.
Without the government, you wouldn't be.
So yeah, I mean, this is a decent retort. His argument is basically, well, now wait a minute, you're saying that the only reason that what I'm able to convey has any value is because it's former CIA. He's like, actually, I was independently of that an expert on the Middle East. Now, being an expert in the Middle East or on the Middle East for the CIA helps boost that credibility, but there's plenty of people who have expertise and can cash in on that without being anything to do with the CIA. So again, this is an interesting retort that really, I think, kind of cuts the legs out from under Bustamante's attempted moral impugning him.
I had been at the State Department, or if I had been in academia, I'd still be an expert on the Middle East.
You're pulling everything from government, man.
So what?
Yeah, again, he's not though, right? So he's still an expert on the Middle East, whether he's with the CIA or not, and pulling from his past experience as a whistleblower, like it's just irrelevant. And he's correct to say, so what?
Andy, I don't see how you think I owe the government
I'm not
something.
saying.
Hold on.
You owe the government anything.
No, it's not true. So now Bustamante has again gotten cooked and contradicted himself. Did you notice that contradiction there? Listen to this.
I don't see how you think I owe the government something.
I'm not saying you
here.
owe the government anything.
No, he did say that. Earlier, he implied that you owe the government a degree of loyalty, and you made promises about not revealing secrets when you joined the CIA or whatever, and the government put you up, the government provides you the infrastructure where you can make money and make a living, and you're betraying all that. So no, you did say he owes the government everything. You implied that and explicitly said it 3 minutes ago. And now you're saying, no, I never said that. No, you did.
Just saying that the ideals that you...
Remember, people in the CIA, and this is what's interesting about this debate, this is a debate between people who are very skilled and trained liars. That is what the CIA trains operatives to do. And both of these people were, at various points, according to them, operatives and engaged in, deception and so forth. But I think the big difference here is that what we have with Kiriakou is a person who appears to have an academic expertise as well as the CIA operations training. And then with Bustamante, obviously he's an intelligent person. I don't detect a lot of the academic expertise here. And I think that's the big imbalance in this debate.
You must have had in 1984,
Yeah.
89.
89, yeah.
You must have compromised on those ideals. You must have at some point.
I'm a patriot.
Isn't it?
So, yeah, Bustamante tried this route of questioning his patriotism with the working for RT thing, and it's not gone very well, right? He's admitted one fatal mistake, and he's done at least 2 contradictions so far. So this is not going very well for him, and like he's got to bring out something better, or else he's just getting cooked.
Isn't questioning the government and holding the government accountable?
Now this is where it gets even worse. Unfortunately for Kiriakou, for Bustamante, because this Danny Jones guy even brings in a question that is kind of obvious, and it should be so obvious that you would think like Bustamante could easily get past this. But Bustamante really flounders here. This part's wild. Watch this.
Something that the United States was founded on. The United States, the government accountable. Questioning the government and holding the government accountable. Something that the United States was founded on.
I mean, this is kind of an obvious one, right? Isn't questioning the government and holding it accountable something that is a basic U.S. principle? The answer is obviously yes. And I'm kind of surprised that this stumps Bustamante. Like, it would have been a much wiser approach for him to just be like, yeah.
I don't know the answer to that.
Of course it is.
How
isn't that in the Constitution?
I don't know the answer to that either.
How does he not know that the United States government was founded upon questioning the monarchy of the British Empire and its taxes and its, abuses, etc.? I mean, obviously this is true. And he can't answer that. So again, remember, this is people who are basically trained in lying, and now they're put in a situation where they're against somebody who can actually debate. And he's just floundering. It's kind of wild to see, because again, I think Bustamante he's a very intelligent guy. I'm not knocking him at all, but just being intelligent doesn't mean that you're good at debate. Remember that.
Can somebody flag where there's any mention of individual accountability to the government? Because I'm pretty sure that's why we are a representative democracy. It is our representatives who are supposed to do that.
No, that's not true at all. So representative government does not remove or excuse individual accountability. So this was a cunning way to try to save face, to say, well, you see, it's not the people that hold the government accountable. It's the representatives that hold the government. Well, okay, but the representatives, first of all, represent the people. So indirectly, that line of argument itself fails, because it's still the people supposedly holding the government accountable. But no, the people also can hold the government accountable. Just think, for example, of the whole idea why we have gun rights, the whole idea why there's the right to create a militia. I mean, those are examples that refute this nonsense that he's trying to. I'll give him a point for this being a kind of a clever way to try to get around the retort, but it still ultimately fails.
Not us. What we're supposed to do is be really fucking good at what we do and vote in meaningful representatives to represent the constituents in all forms of government.
Yeah, again, just simply not true. There's no excusing government corruption and accountability because the elected representatives somehow supposedly failed to do it. I mean, that's just a silly line of argument.
It is not our job to meddle in government. It is also not.
Again, notice the conflation there. It's not our job as individual citizens to meddle in government. The question wasn't meddling in government, so that's a straw man. The question was holding corrupt government people and agencies accountable, not meddling in government. So he's shifted the meaning of the terms and the words into a straw man there.
The government's job to meddle in our economic contributions to the government.
Wait, what?
Economic contributions to the government. Not our job to meddle in government. It is also not the government's job to meddle in our economic contributions to the government.
It's not our job to meddle in government. That wasn't even in question. And it's also the government's job not to meddle in our economic contributions. I mean, so what does some libertarian idea of, that sounds like he's shifting to something that he thinks will have a popular sort of appeal to save him from his disastrous debate mistakes. In other words, let me come up with something that sounds like I'm not a total, statist. And the government shouldn't be stealing our tax money. Again, has nothing to do with what's being debated.
Unless we violate a crime or violate.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Bustamante, what I detect, he's kind of just sounds like kind of a normie libertarian. So that's probably what he's trying to do to save face, is to just appeal to like normie, popular libertarian stuff.
Law, and somehow otherwise ostracize us. But we're not supposed to. That's why we have representation in the Senate and in the House.
Now, again, the fact that we have representation, again, has really nothing to do with whether citizens can call out corruption and hold the government accountable. So again, this is just, he's floundering.
Okay.
So yeah, my point with all of this is just
When people are really struggling and looking around, right? and yeah, Gish Gallop, that's a good, it is example of Gish Galloping, right? He's kind of filibustering. He's kind of like, let me come up with some other topics like taxation is theft and try to get some people back on my side.
A very real responsibility, in my opinion. There's a very real responsibility that if you are going to become a representative of the federal government, if you're going to become a sworn officer of the federal government, whether you're in military uniform, whether you're plainclothes FBI, whether you're Secret Service, whatever else, we have an obligation forevermore. We will never be normal citizens.
I think that's nonsense.
You can think whatever you want to think.
I really do. If you are a private citizen, your loyalty is to yourself. Within the confines of the law, of course, and the Constitution. But I don't owe the government anything.
I'm not saying you owe.
You are saying that it's owed. You've already admitted that it's owed at the beginning through what you said about his time in the CIA, what you said about the infrastructure that the United States federal government supposedly gives us so that we can have economic, advantages like having airplanes and what. So again, this is just going really bad.
The government anything. I'm saying that.
But you are saying that. So, we need to figure out what's the name for this, because Candace does the same thing. This is a kind of a, it's kind of a PR, it's like a politician tactic where you say a bunch of things. Sophistry, I guess, is really like you say a bunch of things and then you say, I'm not saying those things. Right? Like, I list a bunch of things like, listen, you have a duty to your country. You owe your country your life. You should sacrifice yourself for your country if they call upon you to do that. And then, like, a few seconds later, go, look, I'm not saying that you owe your country anything. What? You just said that. Like, well, I mean, I don't even know this. It's not even a fallacy. It's basically just lying. This is just contradicting yourself. Like, yes, you did.
That we have a responsibility. We have an obligation to recognize that we can become tools for our adversaries against the very things that we believe in.
So now he's shifted it again to a different topic, which is you're being a dupe. Right. We have a responsibility to recognize that I can be a dupe for another country. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. That's possible. It is possible that Russian media, Chinese media, Israeli media could reach out to you, could fund you, could do these things and trick you into being some sort of dupe. That, again, has not, number one, it's not been demonstrated yet. Maybe you think that John Kiriakou has been duped, but you haven't demonstrated that yet. So again, an assertion hasn't been demonstrated. Could be, but it's not been demonstrated yet. But again, what does that actually have to do with the original point of contention, which is it a violation of your duty to your country to expose criminal actions in the CIA? That was the root of all this. And now we've gotten over into just every bit of word salad and deflection imaginable. He starts talking about taxation as theft or implying that. Like, what does that have to do with this original topic?
Specifically because of our affiliation with government organizations. That's just the fact of it.
Now, let's make another point that I realized a long time ago, which is, this is where this gets really kind of meaningless. So the idea here is that the problem is that you went to work for a Russian government entity. Well, now, wait a minute. If you remember the big scandal that came out with Hillary and it was in the New York Times. What was that? It was the Ukrainian company? Y'all remind me of the name of the scandal. The name of the company is escaping me. It's Hillary Clinton, or maybe was it a Russian company? I can't remember. Hillary Clinton. Let's see, it was New York Times. It's on the tip of my tongue. Not Burisma, but it Is it Burisma? It is Burisma? Uranium One, that's it. Yeah, so now let's think about this for a second. Oh yeah, of course they're calling it. It's in the freaking New York Times. It's not conspiracy theory. This is so stupid. Okay, so there was a Justice Department inquiry back in 2017 into alleged unlawful dealings between the Clinton Foundation and the foreign company. Was it Russian? I think it was Russian, wasn't it? Uranium One. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, it's a Russian company. Hillary Clinton made $500,000 for a Kremlin-linked Russian investment bank promoting shares in Uranium One. All right, this was the investigation, right? Now wait a minute. Oh, well, you see, that's a private company. Oh, so if it's a private foreign company, then that's no problem. If it's Hunter Biden and Ukrainian companies, well, that's a private company. Okay, what is the difference between Russian state media and a private Russian company? Well, one's called the state and the other's called so nothing really. I mean, in all intents and purposes, it's essentially no different. And yet, and by the way, by the same mainstream media people's accusations, all of these Russian companies and corporations would also be full of spies. So you're still then working with the Russian government. So it's a very ridiculous, selective choosing, as if half of the politicians aren't involved with Israeli companies, as if half the politicians aren't involved with Chinese companies. This is so retarded and ridiculous, right? And Bustamante is acting like it's unheard of because it's the Russian government. Well, if it's wrong to work with and have business dealings with the Russian government, then it's wrong to have business dealings with every foreign corporation under another government. Remember his line of argumentation? A government provides you the infrastructure to have your business. So by his line of logic, a Russian company is therefore under the aegis of the Russian government, providing it to have its functioning and infrastructure. So he's, again, triple refuted himself.
That's what makes us interesting to them.
I have no, but what? Well, how is it different then for the myriad of intelligence officers who sell themselves out to corporate media?
Exactly. Another way to go about the very thing that I just argued. Now, Bustamante is going to try to make it a patriotism issue. Oh, well, you see, they're going to work for Fox and CNN. Oh, really? And so Fox and CNN are somehow now patriotic? Are you serious? I mean, who would actually, but that's probably where he's going to go. Right?
There's at least
What's the difference?
The primary difference is that they're not giving our adversaries an advantage by the connection to their affiliation with the government.
Ah, so he bit the bullet and made it even worse because now it's giving an advantage to the adversaries. So if Hillary Clinton or anybody in the government has business dealings in other corporations in other countries, then that also fails. And thus now he's really dug a deep hole for himself because that's basically all the politicians. So now he's admitting then that all the politicians are corrupt. Oh, interesting. Well, if all the politicians are corrupt, then now you've admitted that the U.S. government is corrupt, Andrew. And by the way, aren't you leaving the United States, Bustamante says, because of the collapse? So it's like, I mean, did he just take on this debate to do it? Or maybe he doesn't even actually believe, maybe he's debating to debate, right? Just to be on the podcast, to take the opposition. Maybe that's what's going on too.
From an agency.
Well, what advantage, though, am I giving?
You don't even know how they choose to use your information.
Of course I do. I see it every single day.
If you really think you know what they're doing with your information, you are either willfully ignorant or overly confident.
So now he's saying that, now you don't know what they're doing with your information. With what? A podcast? What are they going to do? Like chop up John Kiriakou's podcast and dupe all of the dumb Russians? Is that what he like? That's the line of argument here. First of all, how many people in Russia are watching John Kiriakou's podcast? Really? Maybe a few 100,000 at max, maybe 1 million max. And so what, 1 million Russians are going to what? What is this actually going to do? It's just so stupid, right? Like, and what motivation are Russian intelligence operatives going to have to cut up and to change John Kiriakou's information? To do what? Like, what is this actually going to accomplish? I mean, so in other words, I think Bustamante is actually hyping up something that's not even a real. This would be like a very, very minimal threat if this was really going on.
Enlighten me.
They can do anything they want to. They don't even have to be using.
This was a good line of approach by Kiriakou here to just say, tell us, explain. So Russian state media is going to alter everything I say in English to come up with some other message. Tell us how that. Give us some examples of this and show us what they're going to do. So let him hang himself. And a lot of people in debates, they don't do this enough in debates, which is allow your opponents to hang themselves. For example, if you guys recall in the Shabir Ali debate, or was it was either Shabir B. Ali debate or the Azhar Rashid debate. I think it was Shabir Ali. You'll notice when we did the cross-examinations, there was a strategy that I used that he did not use, which is exactly when he cross-examined me, I answered with 1 or 2 words. Did you notice that? Because the more I give to him, the more information he has to hang me with. When I interrogated him, it was blah, 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 blah. All of this. So he's just giving me more stuff to hang him with. Right? And so this was a good line of approach. Again, I think there's also some age and wisdom on the part of Kiriakou coming out of this, because obviously Bustamante is probably 20 years younger than Kiriakou. So there's some age and wisdom coming out of this to where, I mean, he's just making Bustamante look ridiculous in this whole debate.
What are you saying that they're doing, though?
They could be doing so.
They could be, and they're not.
Okay, let's just take best practices for covert influence. Best practices alone, right? Best practices are you take somebody's statement and you put it out of context, and then you translate it into a different language.
Sure.
And you use it to promote something in some third world, in some third
absolutely.
Some third country
and
setting.
If you have evidence, man, I would love to see it.
Yeah, this was a great line of reasoning here. So, okay, so in counterintelligence and disinformation, et cetera, do you craft together bullcrap? Yes. Okay, show where this was done by the Russians with my podcast.
And I'll put an end to it. Sure, they could do anything they want, just like the U.S. can do anything that it wants. But they don't. They haven't.
You don't know. You don't know just as well as I don't.
So he keeps saying, but you don't know. You don't know. Now, this was the Candace tactic. Did you guys catch that? This is a now, wait a minute. You don't know if Charlie Kirk was had his assassination planned at Fort Huachuca. So you don't know so there is no evidence that these people were there doing it, but you don't know that they weren't there doing it. So this is just a clever tactic, which is just a silly fallacy.
No.
Of course I know. Of course I know.
Of course you know what Russia is doing with all of your data. The data that you were so passionately against the FBI collecting.
What data?
So now he's being intentionally ambiguous because it shifted from them crafting disinformation through his podcast for a Russian audience to you don't know what they're doing with all that data that you're giving them. Well, was it that they were crafting disinformation? And he said, well, give an audience or give an example. Well, he didn't have an example. So then it turns to now he's shifting, moving the goalpost to, well, they could just be stealing all that data and you don't know what they're doing with that information. Well, that's an argument from silence. You don't, well, okay, well, if I don't know, then you don't know, then no one knows. So this is an argument proving absolutely nothing.
Metadata. You were so concerned.
Now it's metadata? Is that what he said? What are the Russians going to do with the metadata of John Kiriakou's podcast? Like what?
What your
data?
metadata. You were so
Dude,
concerned against
I
the
sit in
metadata
front of a
collection.
microphone every day.
This is so retarded. The metadata, like John Kiriakou sits in front of a microphone and talks. Like, what's the the Russian agents have discovered that he's using a blue snowball microphone or a Shure, looks like my Shure microphone, and he's broadcasting from Minneapolis, Minnesota, wherever he's from. What are they going to do with that? Like, it's just so silly.
And I talk about what's in the papers. That's my job. It's a 2-hour news show.
Yeah, so all that metadata, very, very disastrous. FSB can ruin America if they get a hold of John Kiriakou's real metadata from his news podcast.
That's it. And then I get up and I go home.
You talk about your opinions also.
Yeah, my opinions aren't...
That's even stupider. That's an even worse route. He's just crashing and burning, man. So you don't just cover the news, you cover your opinions, and you have no idea what Russian intelligence is doing with your opinions. Like, what? That's even less weight than covering the news. Like, what is that going to do?
Secret. I give the same opinions on Fox and on MSNBC that I give on my own radio show.
What's
the difference?
It's shocking to me how legalistic your point of view is, considering that it was the law that put you in prison. It's just...
Now again, this is getting worse. It's almost getting into, he's trying a different tactic now. He's going to switch back to the original issue of contention, which was the legality of opposing and calling out government corruption publicly. So he shifted now to, let's go back to that. And he's going to try to create a story of a tension between John Kiriakou wanting to supposedly be within the confines of what's legal versus the American government legalities are what put him in prison. So he's trying to find a way to give the appearance that Kiriakou's contradicted himself. But of course, this is just a construct. There isn't even a contradiction here, because the original contention was not the American laws put you in prison. You admitted, Bustamante, in your kill shot admission when you lost this debate, when you said that the CIA broke the law. So you've already admitted that. So now he's trying to reframe his disastrous admission.
Shocking to me.
Yeah.
That you are so legalistic and you're making ideological arguments, but selectively choosing when to follow ideology and when to defend yourself using legalisms.
Well,
that's exactly what Bustamante has done the whole time. So this is a kind of a projection here to where it's almost like the last few things Bustamante has said, he's kind of given away, in my view, in my opinion, he's given away what he does, right? He's saying, okay, in disinformation operations, here's what we would do. We would take what was said and turn it. That's what he's doing to Kiriakou. And then he's saying, you selectively choose the legalities to defend yourself. That's what Bustamante is doing. So he's showing and admitting way too much about how he's actually relying on techniques and tactics and tricks and not actual debate. Hope you guys noticed that.
That's a personal ideology, right? We all have these personal ideologies.
I'm just...
Yeah. And so that was a pretty good way to just retort and turn it back and say, how is that? Everybody's doing this. So what? Again, fallacy of irrelevance.
I guess I'm sad. I'm sad for...
Here we go. Emotional appeal. Back to the emotional appeals, because he tried this first with the kids. John, your kids, they live in America. You're betraying your children by working with Russian state media because you called out CIA corruption, which he admitted was law breaking. Now he's back to the emotional appeals. I'm sad for you, man. I'm sad for you.
And where do you draw the line? Do you not give an interview to a Turkish outlet or a...
Probably for this audience, the route that Kiriakou is taking is more effective. Like my mindset, because I do debate, right? Like I would have immediately been calling out the fallacies. I'd be like, well, first of all, Andrew, that's an emotional appeal and that's a fallacy. But probably Kiriakou, he may know debate. I get the impression he's pretty good. He seems to know debate pretty well. That doesn't necessarily mean that they know, fallacies to call out, but the route of, instead of calling out fallacies, what's sometimes more effective with audiences, because audiences have no idea what fallacies. People are usually pretty retarded. The people are retarded, as Osho says. So what's a lot better method, and I think you see, for example, Andrew doing this. It's a much better, a more effective method for the normie audience to counter with an example than it is to call out the fallacy. Because a lot of people they're so dumb, they actually think that fallacies are just tricks. They don't actually understand that as rules of a game, right? Like chess rules. They actually think that, oh, you're just calling out fallacies because that's a trick you play. So it's, I think, a better approach for a normie audience to give a counter example that illustrates the fallacy, which is, I think, what Kiriakou is going to do here. So let's see. So instead of saying, Andrew, that's a fallacy, he's going to say, let me give you an example of, okay, if I go on Turkish media, does it apply there? And where do you draw the line? It's going to be very arbitrary, as I think where he's going.
Give an interview to a Turkish outlet or a Cuban outlet or an Argentine outlet. I mean, pretty much anybody with the Five Eyes can be an opponent of the U.S. government on any given issue. What do you do?
So this is interesting. So now he's retorted with a very difficult example that it's going to. How do we think? I don't expect Bustamante to really be able to come back. He's only got a few minutes of this clip to try to dig out of this, and I think he's pretty much defeated. And you see him if you watch the interview, it's a little bit weird with these camera angles, but throughout the interview, Kiriakou appears to be giving him direct eye contact. So if we want to get into a little bit of the gay body language stuff, which I don't do a whole lot of that, but just from the body language, Bustamante keeps looking up and looking around, and he's looking for, according to his own body language videos. You can go watch Bustamante's own body language videos where he admits that in these kinds of discussions or in an interrogation, which this is a kind of an interrogation, he says when people are looking around, they're looking for things or ways to come up with stuff.
From my point of view, there's adversaries, current, clear and present adversaries, and then there are unknowns, and then there are clear and present allies. If you're going to support an adversary, you can justify it however you choose.
I don't support the adversary. The adversary offered me an outlet that I gladly accepted.
At a bare minimum, your outlet generates revenue for an adversary. Barest minimum.
Oh, now it's turned to monetary revenue. And again, this is going to get really hairy, because if generating monetary advantage for an adversary is a problem, that implicates the entire U.S. government, especially with all their foreign business contracts, et cetera, Hillary, all this kind of stuff. Then now basically Bustamante would be admitting that a vast portion of the U.S. government and its representatives and senators and whoever else is working with and supporting adversaries. And by the way, is Bustamante going to apply this to Israel?
So how can you say that you don't benefit the adversary?
Well, it's revenue. It's a government-sponsored radio. I mean, there's no advertising. There's no revenue stream. It's like Voice of America.
If there is no actual money changing hands, I would be surprised, because there's always got to be money that changes hands somewhere. And you're also talking about.
I'm not sure what that means.
There's always money. There's always a funding source. There's always a donor base. There's always an exchange of value. Nothing is free.
It's a government-funded radio network.
Funded by which?
Now, I don't think this is an interesting. I think it was the last resort that Bustamante had to go to. And he's doing a little bit better, actually, with this retort than I expected. I'm not saying that I think this means he wins the debate by a long shot. He's already cooked. But the last thing that he could really go to was monetary success. But Kiriakou preemptively sort of diffused this at the very beginning by saying, "No, I'm working with Sputnik for a paycheck." So he's already kind of admitted, "Yeah, I'm doing it for a paycheck." The retort that the Russian state media isn't a for-profit thing, maybe not the best retort. I mean, technically, in terms of legalities, I guess that might be true. But Bustamante is correct that money is still at work here. But Kiriakou kind of already admitted that. So this is, I guess, his last refuge, and it's not. I mean, I guess it's all he had left. But it's not going to win him the debate by far.
Which government?
The Russian government.
The Russian government funds a radio channel.
Yeah.
For which audience?
For the American audience.
For the American people.
Yeah.
Using the voice of a CIA officer.
Yes.
And you don't see a problem with that?
Absolutely none.
Do we do that in other countries?
Of course we do. It's called the Voice of America.
Influence campaigns.
It's called the Voice of America.
And they are there for influence. They are soft power. There to win. It's the same fucking thing that Tucker Carlson did with Vladimir Putin.
So you think it's so? How do you so?
What?
I think
because there is a
okay. So now Tucker's bad because he gave an interview to Putin and let Putin say all of Putin's ideas and thoughts. Again, this is just a disingenuous line of argumentation because it's. Do you remember what Bustamante said a couple minutes ago? It's a very selective choosing of which things to highlight. Exactly. It's exactly. Bustamante revealed what he's doing in this debate.
A inlet of influence that's allowed into the United States, that is essentially sponsored by the Russian state media. That is headed by the voice of a CIA officer inside the United States, which automatically lends credibility to RT, who is the sponsor of the program. So now anybody who listens to your program, they may like you, they may like what you have to say, but what RT is paying for is for a channel of media exposure.
Interesting. Now, I will say this. I think Bustamante has done some podcasts where he is critical of the Mossad. So that is to be fair to Bustamante, he has done that. However, this cuts both ways, right? Because if you're going to call this out, then all of these influence campaigns and anyone, for example, working with, say, things like Daily Wire that promote pro-Israeli attitudes, or anything working with Chinese affiliated media, right? I've not watched these Mossad ones, so I don't exactly know what. But he says things like Epstein, was perfect for the Mossad, which I think is pretty obvious, right? So Bustamante seems to admit a lot of that kind of stuff. To be fair to him, but again, like, this line of argumentation here is it just comes off as very selective and arbitrary, because if we're going to go that route, then pretty much everybody in media is then in some way helping the adversary, at least in American Western media.
To the United States.
Good. Maybe I can educate somebody. I'll take it. 7 days a week. I will take it.
This is fascinating, guys.
So, I mean, I think some of you guys said you watched the whole thing. Is there anything more in this? Like, should we go with more clips from the full one? And was that the sort of the heat of the debate? Let's see what else we got here. We got topics of American ideals versus the law. Let's see if that was this section here.
Bald spot?
You can't always stick to your ideals. You just can't. And America is a country that's built on ideals, but America is also a country that's 9 years old compared to the rest of the world.
Sure.
Right? We're juveniles. We're children compared to what society has been in Central Europe, in East Asia, and Latin America. So,
oh, interesting. Now, it looks like they do get into Israeli spies. So this looks like it might be worth more analysis to the guys that did watch this podcast. Is it worth continuing? You guys let me know. or did we see the hottest topic, the hottest part of it? I mean, let's see what they say about the Israeli spies part.
So what happened on October 7th, of course, was it was a terrorist attack of historic proportions, right? The targets were civilians, absolutely horrible, awful thing, snatch.
Yeah, I'll give my assessment. I would say Kiriakou dominated that debate, absolutely, from beginning to end. There was really only one part where Bustamante kind of showed a little bit of strength towards the end. But even that was kind of a really slimy tactic, really just to, it's about money. Oh, okay. Wow. Good job. Even the body language, right? Kiriakou, eye contact, staring straight at him, no fear, rushed everything off. Bustamante crashed and burned. So I would say it was a totally cooked domination in that debate. And I don't have a problem saying, if Kiriakou made a bad argument, I would call it out, right? I don't have a problem saying that. But let's see what they say about Israeli spies.
Hostages and whatnot. At the same time, what did Hamas think the reaction was going to be? On the one hand, okay? On the other hand, we now know from Israeli journalists.
So people are saying that most of the podcast is actually just talking about politics, and they have the debate. So is that all the debate? Kiriakou actually does go to the Divine Liturgy. Oh, cool. Maybe I should try to interview him. I need to reach out and see if he'd be willing to do an interview or something. Bustamante reminds me of Destiny. Interesting. There might be some debate parallels there between those two. Let's see. They disagree on Israel. So let's see what they say about Israel.
That the Israeli government was hoping something like this would happen because it would give them what they believe to be the legal authority to destroy Gaza. Not to...
Yeah, I think that's what happened. I agree with Kiriakou there.
Just destroy Hamas. I mean, Hamas is nebulous. They don't carry ID cards, right? And so they could destroy...
Also, Kiriakou is actually a Middle East expert, right? I mean, that's his assessment, and Bustamante didn't seem to challenge that. So we're going to be looking at an actual Middle Eastern expert versus where was do we know where Bustamante was based in terms of his operations? I'm not sure. If somebody in the chat knows, like, was he in Latin South America, or like where was he at? I don't recall.
The whole of Gaza, something that they've wanted to do for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're overt about it. You know, you see advertisements now. I've seen them in New York, New Jersey, California, at synagogues where they'll have what they call real estate seminars afterwards, where you can buy land that's really Palestinian land in Gaza that the Israeli government is planning now to turn into settlements. You know, these comments by Jared Kushner, for example, about beachfront property in Gaza making an incredible opportunity for a beachfront resort, that wasn't an accident. That was the plan. I think the Israelis are guilty of genocide, not a term I use lightly. And, you know, while, of course, I think the Israelis have a right to exist, you know, peaceful coexistence or whatnot, two-state solution, one-state solution, I don't know. But they've gone much too far. They've ignored the international community. They're going through the motions of ceasefire talks. You know, Netanyahu was in town, a week ago? And while he was in Washington, negotiations were ongoing in Rome between Israel, Hamas, the United States, Egypt, and Qatar.
Mm.
And when the talks broke up, the Egyptians complained that the Israeli delegation didn't have the authority to agree on anything. They just sat there and stared at each other. So nothing was accomplished. When Netanyahu left Washington, John Kirby, the spokesman for the National Security Council, said that Netanyahu didn't even pretend to support a ceasefire. He didn't even pretend. There's no hope for a ceasefire. Not until everybody's dead or everything is destroyed. Number one. Number two, man, we don't even have enough time to talk about Israelis in the United States and Israeli involvement. My very first day at the agency, we had a briefing by the head of security. And he was talking about...
And this is something I've read a decent amount on. I mean, I've been aware of this kind of stuff for all the way back to 2007 is when I first started studying this topic. I've known about Jonathan Pollard for a long time. I've known about Monica Lewinsky as allegedly Mossad and the Mega Group. I've known about all this stuff for years. So please don't try to instruct me on stuff that I learned about when you were in your poopy pants. We've got, let's see. Brand Wolf says $20. Protect Jay at all costs. I like that ideology. President Sundowner, $10. We was Kangs. Scottish, $20. Have you looked into the symbolic imagery of the video game Halo? It involves the Bible. I mean, I used to play Halo. I played Halo throughout the 2000s, so I do remember, the major themes in Halo. There's a savior of humanity, for example. John 1:17 is a Bible verse that I remember correctly. Take a look at it if you want. Yeah, it might be worth doing a little Halo, revisit. That might be worth doing. Making sure I didn't miss any super chats here. Let's see. All right, I think we got all of that. You guys enjoying the debate analysis? What do you guys think? So let's hear the rest of this section.
Counterintelligence, which was a new word for me. And he said, he was explaining the difference between declared officers and undeclared officers. So a declared officer is, let's say you're a CIA officer and you're serving in some foreign country. And the station chief takes you to the intelligence service of that country and says, this is my officer. He's a CIA officer, and he's here to work with your officers. Okay, you're a declared officer. An undeclared officer is somebody who's serving overseas undercover and is not declared. He's not supposed to be known to that intelligence service. So the head of security told us that at the Israeli embassy in Washington, there are two declared officers, one for Mossad and one for Shin Bet, right? So Shin Bet is like not really the FBI, but
Internal
domestic security. Yeah. This was in January of 1990. He said there were 189 undeclared Israeli intelligence officers that the FBI had been able to identify, spread all over America, trying to steal our defense secrets. So
now that comes up in, again, Victor Ostrovsky's books. That's all very... everything that lines up with what I've read. So I would say that this makes perfect sense. And no one seems to really see this as an issue, right? Like if you dare to see this as an issue, it's because you are a bigot, right?
Why don't we wrap those people up and expel them? Because they're Israeli. They're not Chinese. They're not Russian. They're not North Koreans or Cubans or whatever. They're Israeli. And the Israelis have such a hold on Capitol Hill that it's just not worth the disruption in relations, political or foreign affairs.
Now, doesn't everyone know this now? Right? Doesn't everybody know this?
To wrap those people up. You just have to kind of hope for the best. I think I probably mentioned to you in one of our earlier conversations, too. I had two friends that I worked with, very good friends from the agency. And when I went overseas on my first tour, they went overseas on their first. And they went to Jerusalem. Tandem couple, married couple, both agency officers. The wife was the one that actually got the job. So the husband took a 2-year kind of sabbatical to...
Now, here's one of the, foremost existing out there CIA whistleblower guys. And just think about the bullshit that you've heard people opposing me with, like Ridvan, right? Apostate prophet, David Wood, right? I mean, here's somebody with actual Middle Eastern expertise who didn't just convert yesterday, telling you the stuff that I say. Now, who do you think is more credible or has more expertise in these domains? Ridvan, AP, his nonsense, or what Kiriakou's saying?
Learn how to speak Arabic. So they went As soon as they arrived, the chief took them to Mossad and said, you already know them. I'm just making it official. They're declared. She's going to be working with your people, and he's going to be studying Arabic at such and such a university. A couple of months later, they go to a dinner at the ambassador's residence. And when they got home, all of their living room furniture had been rearranged while they were gone. That was just a message like, we can fuck with you when we want.
Is that something that's normal?
For the Israelis, yes. They do this kind of thing all the time. A couple of months after that, they went to a Christmas party at the ambassador's residence. And when they came back, people had taken shits in all of their toilets in their house. Another message.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They finished their 2-year tour. The ambassador has a going away dinner for them. They go back home. Somebody had cut the dog's tail off and wrapped it in gauze as kind of a going away present. This is what the Israelis do.
Yeah, but did they know about Candace's dreams? Right. That's the question that we really need to ask here. Right. Has Bibi dealt yet with those black phone calls from purgatory yet? I don't think so. So is Bustamante going to say anything here? Let's see.
And the Jews hate him because he forced them to work together. Neither one of them liked the deal, that they wanted to fight.
Is he talking? I'm sure he's talking about Arafat.
The negotiations. That's how difficult it was. Our move in the direction of the Israelis was very slow and very incremental. I remember the Emir of Bahrain saying one time that the last American president to give us, the Arabs, a truly fair shake was George H.W. Bush. And before him, it was Dwight Eisenhower.
Yeah, this gets into the Safari Club and the history of that stuff. And there was this, for whatever reasons, it gets really complex, but there was this period. And I'm not saying George W. Bush Sr. was a hero, but I'm saying there was this move away from the Israelis with Bush Sr. for whatever reason, which is interesting. We should get into that sometime, but that's what he's referring to.
Otherwise, he said, you guys always favor the Israelis. We actually didn't. But then if you look at administration after administration going back to 1948, you can see how drastically American policy has changed. And I think it's because we struggle with that issue of equating Israel with Judaism.
This also is why Quigley's books, because he wrote Tragedy and Hope in the 60s. And so this is still prior to the WASP Zionist alliance. It was sort of beginning in the Cold War. And that's why Quigley's books kind of end without getting into, the Israeli dominance of U.S. foreign policy. So people will say, oh, you talk about Quigley because you don't want to talk about that stuff. Well, Quigley's books end when that really becomes more and more of a threat to American, secrets and security. So it's not that Quigley was necessarily lying or that it's just that his time of writing about this history was back when you had a WASP Zionist alliance. And at that point, the WASP power structure was probably more powerful back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, et cetera. And then as you get up into the more recent history, you have more of a dominance of things like AIPAC and U.S. foreign policy for sure.
And, really never the two shall meet.
Right. So
in U.S. policy.
So Netanyahu's execution of wartime policy, which is like outside of legal requirements, and he dissolved his war cabinet. Like he's an army of one right now, basically, right? With his whole
Did he get rid of that one guy, Benny
Gantz left on his own.
Oh, Benny Gantz left on his own, but Itamar Ben-Gvir is still very much there.
That's what I'm talking about, Gvir. Ben
and
Gvir.
so is Smotrich.
Julian was telling me about Ben Gvir, saying that guy is like
this
Satan.
guy. He has felony convictions for anti-Muslim hate crimes. That's how bad this is. He's a convicted hate crime felon.
And apparently he's the guy who had like a portrait of this guy, a terrorist who like blew up some sort of mosque.
The cave of the patriarchs.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Had his portrait hanging in his living room.
So I think there's absolutely a stranglehold in the United States about the topic of Judaism and protecting Judaism and safeguarding Judaism, especially knowing that Israel is a safe haven for Jews in an ocean of Islam on both sides, right? Sunni and Shia Islam. So there's definitely an element of that. And then there is a strong current of wealthy Jewish money, wealthy Jewish lobbyists, wealthy Jewish entertainers, wealthy Jewish everything. Just like there's wealthy Christians and wealthy Muslims and wealthy Buddhists, everything, right? There's an influence that comes from those benefactors in the United States that we also confuse with thinking that we have to support Israel to support them.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a very real strategic benefit from supporting Israel.
Okay, so Bustamante is pro-Israeli. It's a bold take.
We just don't have to support Israel and their policies under Netanyahu in how they execute
blindly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Against Hamas.
And one of the things people
we're not it's not about Hamas.
No.
It's about Iran, and it's about Iran's efforts to execute proxy conflict in all directions around Israel.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's really about.
It is.
And everybody is talking about the fucking red sparrow. They're all following the red herring that says that it's about Hamas. It's not about Hamas.
It's not about Hamas.
And Red Sparrow? Did he mix up Red Sparrow and a red herring? I mean, Red Sparrow is a movie with female Russian intelligence, right? I mean, what is he talking about? Did he maybe just use the wrong term?
Hamas is an idea that, unfortunately, with every new Palestinian that you kill, all you're doing is guaranteeing another generation of people who believe in Hamas.
Absolutely.
Even the Fatah government has now shaken hands with Hamas and been like,
but the Israeli government drove them to that.
It's crazy.
Abbas is so easily attacked. I mean, this is a guy that's 18 years into a 4-year term as president, right?
So they don't. Doesn't seem like they significantly necessarily disagree here. So Bustamante seems to have a reserved support for Israel, but is critical of Netanyahu. But and they sort of try to say, well, it's not really about it's not really about Judaism. I mean, do they not know what actually rabbinic Judaism teaches? Probably not. I don't know, but. Thank you guys. Appreciate today's super chats and donations. If you want to, you can leave your comments below. Hope you enjoyed the comedy in the first half and then the debate analysis in the second half. It was a lot of fun to debate something or to analyze a different debate than the standard old, atheist, theist debate. Sometimes that gets a little old. Bob Dog says for $2, this was an awesome debate analysis. Thanks, man. I'm glad you liked it. Appreciate that, Bob Dog. Apostles College, $5. Jay, I was wondering what your opinion on the Chosen series is. I've not watched it. I know that there was a significant Mormon involvement, I think, in the production of the Chosen series. So I've heard good and bad things about it. I've just never invested the time in it. So I don't really know if it's any good or not. But is this heretical? Is it a Christian thing? Can we watch it? I've been binging your videos lately. Thank you. What do you guys think about Chosen? I mean, we have the smartest audience out there, by the way. So was Chosen heterodox? Did it have like heterodox theology in it? Was it Mormon, or did they keep it pretty solid? Well, the jokes were awesome. By the way, I think I'm gonna clip Miss Cleo, by the way, and put that up on Twitter and say Candace has got the new Candace episode just dropped, and I'm gonna have that Miss Cleo clip. Remember to head on to chalk.com, choq.com, the best in supplementation on the internet. Use the promo code JAY60Life, J60Life, to get 60% off all those great Chalk products, including the Performance Stack or the Male Vitality Stack. And you can unsubscribe at any time. Christ is only human, really? So it's an Aryan show? I would have thought more people would be able to like figure that out, but then again, maybe not. Maybe everybody except our audience is completely retarded. Basically, I'm joking, but Jesus is soft and feminine. Is that what it shows? Yeah, guys, if you want to, you can hop on over to Jake Rattlesnake. Our good buddy Jake is live right now if you want to check out more debate analysis. Otherwise, it seems like most of my chat is saying Chosen is not very good. It's Aryan, heterodox, adoptionist, so I would probably steer clear from it. Everybody have a good night.